Today's episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to create a beautiful website, blog, or online store for you and your ideas. Jack. Squarespace features an elegant interface, beautiful templates, and incredible 24/7 customer support. Start building your website today at squarespace.com. Enter the offer code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to get 10% off. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Over Greggy Show. I am one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hello.
Now do it here. Move this. Show them what you showed me out at the kitchen table.
What did I show you?
You did this.
The goodies.
Move that. Yeah, look at that. Holy cow! Look at that. That's a real muscle. That's a real thing.
That's a real muscle.
That's a thing
Confirmed.
that's happening.
In case you were wondering.
Something. I got a lot of body fat. That's the issue I'm working on now. I think it's going to play well into a couple of the conversations we're going to have today.
Okay.
Some of the topics.
Sure.
Namely taxes. But I got a lot of body fat, so it makes the muscles look a little bit bigger. It's nice.
That's not, but I mean, that's a real muscle. You did it and it did like the Schwarzenegger thing where it like became a lump. Like,
Aw.
you know what I mean?
That's nice.
It wasn't
Thank you.
just like something that moved.
It
Like
became-
mine just is a thing that moves, but yours does that thing where it goes like, and then like up and over. Like a little scoop of ice cream on
You
your
can
arm.
almost hear the noise.
What's the... Oh, yeah. The muscles tightening.
Yeah.
Over here, the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty. And over there, the pure one, Tim Geddes.
Let's him host.
We'll get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can toss us a few bucks and get every episode early, along with a bunch of exclusives and cool, neat perks. If you have no bucks to toss, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com, where we break the show up topic by topic, day by day. youtube.com/kindafunny. Until the entire thing posts as one big MP3 in a video. I said youtube.com.
Yeah.
You go to youtube.com, there's a few other videos on there
A
than
couple.
just ours.
Just
You know
getting
what
in
I
the
mean?
way.
Colin, go ahead. It's your topic. And as I told Tim, he's fired up.
Fired up. Well, I'm fired up today. I was fired up yesterday. I was
I
so
know
fired
you were
up.
fired
I
up
went
yesterday.
I was so fired up. I went to bed early because I'm like, I can't operate right now. We're paying our taxes.
I'm sitting here watching The Walking Dead with my wife last night, and I see the first text pop up. Hey, I can actually read it. No, I won't read it.
You can read it if you
It was
want.
to the extent
Do
of,
it. Do a dramatic reading.
hey, do we have to...
I'm going to look it up now.
What? Oh, no, I was on a separate thread with Colin.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that was a whole separate thread.
apologize.
You guys caught you guys caught like the explosion.
I
the
was
mushroom.
living down the hallway from it. Of just him shouting
I could hear
stuff
it.
out.
I was a city away and I heard him.
He was in the living room down
The
there.
very first one was it was filled with so much anger toward the American government. It was only like 2 words like, hey, I need to call you or something like that. And I was like,
I love you so fucking much, Nick. God
He's
damn
going
it.
to call me.
He's gonna call me.
But Colin, I could see you working through the same sort of anger that I worked through 2 days prior when I did my taxes this year, which is that the government just basically fucks you. They just fuck you. And your anger, fuck it, I'll read it.
Thank you,
we
please.
go into it?
Thank
Okay.
you. I remember like 10 minutes ago when I said that.
Yeah.
Also remember when you said it was 2 words.
2 words.
Hey,
Here's 1 word. Here's a
a
bunch of other words. And then he's like, I got to think of 1 more word. You.
Yeah. Didn't work out.
oh, the fucking best. I love this show.
Let me see how much of this.
How much you text him last night?
He asked me if we needed a Schedule C, which we don't need a Schedule C. And then it just derailed from there. I can't read the rest. I can't read the rest because it's got numbers and stuff.
Too
in it. I don't wanna put that on there.
many specifics in there.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see the anger because I had that same anger before. You know, we are in a certain tax bracket with not a lot of write-offs, and we're in a specific area where we can't own a home or piece of property, which would be a major write-off for us. The government just goes, hey, let me take your pants down. Oh, I'm not going to suck on it. I'm going to flip you over and just cram my hand up your ass and take whatever I want from you and just pull it out and leave you with like a dangly mess
Asshole.
of innards that should be that
your
are
innards are hanging
now.
out of your ass.
Well, they're outwards now.
Oh God.
Anyway. So that's basically where we're at. But I made amends. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna owe some money. Just gonna move on with it. But Colin, I think which is surprising for Colin, holds on to it a little bit longer than I think the rest of us do. Very surprising.
Colin's
Usually
been the only one asking any questions about taxes since we started this business.
It goes like this. Colin's the most worried about it. I'm second most worried.
Yeah.
You are a very distant third.
No, Tim and I are tied. We don't care.
I mean,
Whatever
my
happens,
thing is,
care
it's like,
less about
tell me what's the fucking. How am I gonna get fucked? Okay, cool. Fuck me and let's move on with
Right.
life.
it's one of the few times that I'll make a reference like this. But in this whole scenario, Tim and I are Timon and Pumbaa. And we're just sitting there, Hakuna
So close.
Matata and all
So
around.
close.
Timon and Pumbaa?
Like, who the fuck is Pumbaa?
He's the guy, man. Nathan Lane and the other dude.
Yeah. It's close
Timon
enough,
and
though.
Pumbaa.
Simone and
close
Pumbaa
enough.
just walking. I get it though. We're
Hakuna
out there.
Matata, bro. Whatever. It's going to
Yeah.
happen. We're not afraid.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
expect
it,
that won't be
it
the only time you
definitely
make that
sucks.
reference.
It upsets me. It upsets me so much, and I wish I understood it more. I wish I knew how to change it and fix it, but I don't think there's any fixing it. It's the way it is, at least right now. It's like I can't get out of it unless I become an illegal motherfucker. And I ain't trying to do that, Colin.
Well, you can because you're a natural born citizen.
No, I know, not that type of illegal. I'm talking about like if I was like,
You said
trying to-
Just not a Wesley Snipes character.
Oh,
You're not
you
paying your
mean so not
taxes.
an illegal person in the United States? You mean you're going to live illegally by not paying your taxes?
yeah, and I ain't trying to do that to you. I feel like that would upset you.
I feel like I'm good this
Do
year.
you? I don't care.
I got a guy. I wrote
Oh, you're
down
gonna be good this
a
year.
whole gajillion expenses. I have all these receipts I've been saving in a manila envelope. I put all those into a spreadsheet. I tabulated them.
See, here's my thing. I can't wrap my head around this expensing thing.
You don't
Because-
have to worry about it.
So that's the thing. Like people
How does he
always
not
tell
have
me,
to worry about it?
save all your receipts, save them in an envelope. I save a bunch of receipts, and then time comes, and
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
do have to
I
do-
ask
you-
you,
you
motherfuckers,
should worry
hey,
about it.
do I need anything? You're like, oh no, you don't need them.
I'm sorry, I apologize. So the reason why you're able to write some of your expenses off is because you have miscellaneous 1099 income. So anything you got paid by, we have a company,
Yeah.
right? The four of us and sometimes five, Kevin. That company pays us a salary in which taxes are taken out of. So you don't have to worry about anything. If we just had that and that's all we had to worry about,
Okay.
you would get to the end of the year, and depending on how many deductions you claim, you would either owe a little bit of money or they owe you a little bit of money,
Yeah.
or it's a wash, right? But because our lives are ridiculous and people will just come out of the woodworks and be like, hey, come down to LA and be in a VO booth for a couple hours and pretend like you're working hard. Oh, I gotta go down there and work hard, but I'm just, they're going to give you a 1099. And what that means is that's miscellaneous income outside of what you made in the company. You are allowed to expense some receipts based on that work that you did through them. So not a lot, but if you went down there, for instance, and the company said, we're not sending you down there, this is your freelance gig, and you had to book a flight out of your own, well, that $200 then is money that you had to put toward getting that job. So theoretically, an obvious consultant accountant, he'll tell you whether or not this is true or not.
Or she will.
Or she will. Our accountant just happens to be male. Actually, there's male and a female, so that both
But we work with
pronouns work.
Tone Deaf's our account.
Yeah, Tone Deaf actually is our accountant, which is crazy because when he's not making ill beats or
He's
graphically
fucking on
designing
that.
shit, he's a certified public
Doing math.
accountant. So that's why you're able to do it. So if you have to make more than I think a certain, like, I think you have to make more than $500 to even show up on that radar.
Is it 500 or is it closer to like 2,000? Because I remember
It might be
a long
2,000.
time ago.
Who knows?
Yeah. So
Who really knows?
Fuck. All right. So let's say
500 and they have to give you a 1099.
Okay.
So if like, for instance, we have some people who have done some work for us that I've 1099, but we've only paid them a couple $100. We don't claim that. That just gets claimed under a different category. So they don't have to worry about paying taxes on anything under than $500.
So
from
let's
us.
say that I just had this normal shit and I had one thing that was $501 or whatever, just right above that number is, right?
Yeah. You're gonna
Is
get
it even worth doing expenses for that, or is it just because that seems like such a low
There's
number?
a
it's not
threshold.
worth-
It's
it's not
probably
worth it.
not. And at the end of the day,
That's why I'm not
you're
doing
only
it.
paying, call it 20 to 25% of that anyway. So
All
you're going to
right.
owe about $200. Maybe no, less than that. What's
Oh, I'm misunderstanding.
150?
I thought you were talking about write-offs because your minimum deduction is $6,300, I think. So like if your deductions all don't reach $6,300, it doesn't matter that you did your deductions because they're not allowed to. They're not going to take them anyway.
Right.
So like, I think that's the sum. People should look it up if they don't take tax advice from me, but I think that's what it is. So I can't write off my student loans anymore because we made too much money. Like because people have to understand that like we're an S corporation, so the passive income in the bank that we have, we each have to split by the shares that we owe, which means I owe money on taxes on money I don't even have.
Right.
So when I said my number that that they'd already taken me for, plus what I have to write them a check for now, it is an extraordinary amount of money. Like it is an unfathomable amount of money that I owe them.
But to be fair, that's because we chose as a business to keep that money there so that we could do things like pay Kevin, buy equipment, things like that. So if at the end of the year we decided, hey, fuck it, we don't want to run this anymore, we want to tap the savings account, then that imbalance would be a little less. It's still painful as fuck because there's still you know, whatever
insane.
money. This is the problem. Whatever
insane.
money you whatever money you make, you still have to pay tax on one or the other. There's no system that I know of, and if someone does, please let me know, where you make income and the IRS doesn't charge you income tax. What are you laughing at?
I have no idea.
I was like, I don't.
God damn it! This is the second time in a month that you've done this, Greg.
He looked at me like I was gonna go off the rails, and I was like, I think I'm giving sound advice right now.
The Warthog's name is.
Pumbaa.
Pimba. It's Pimba the Warthog.
Pumbaa. Isn't it Timon and Pumbaa?
It's Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pimba was very close. If you were a warthog who drinks Pim's cup,
Okay.
they call him Pimba. His friends
okay,
call him
okay,
Pimba.
okay.
So that's the shitty thing is you got to pay income tax no matter what. Now, where it sucks for us and where it sucks for a lot of middle class is that you just don't have a lot of write-offs. You just like if you owned a home, if you were married, those would be write-offs that you could then bounce against. And you get deductions for those, but still, it wouldn't be that much.
It's just
You're fucked.
my
It's like
dad used to,
you're in like a 30% tax bracket right now. It's
my
ridiculous.
dad used to say this. He's like, taxation in America is confiscatory, meaning that like they're just confiscating. They're confiscating your money. It's not a social. It's at the level in which we are taxed. It is not a part of the social contract. They are just stealing your money.
Mm-hmm.
They are just taking it from you.
But what
Just
about the
taking
roads?
everything you have.
Colin, what about the roads?
Yeah,
Who
and then
fixed
there's
the
like these
roads?
ignorant fucking people out there that are like, "Don't you like your roads? Isn't your dad a firefighter?" And something like, we're talking about federal income tax. We're not talking about the state. The state can do whatever they want. You don't have to live there.
Yeah, you can go
You
live in
don't have to live in the United
Texas
States
where
either.
there's no income tax.
But
at
like
the
you
state
don't
level,
like
right?
the federal government's not paying my dad. You know what I mean? Like New York City's paying my dad. The taxpayers of New York City are paying my dad. Like you can have a state income tax all you want, your sales tax, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not even complaining about any of that. I'm complaining about the federal government, the federal inept piece of shit government that we have coming in and taking everything we have, just holding you upside down and shaking you, and then coming to our business and just shaking all of us collectively and taking even more. And I want people to know that it's to the point where we could literally hire 2 more people and probably have a space if we didn't have to pay all this. If we didn't have
collective income tax is what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
And,
Between-
and payroll taxes and other things. That
Right,
we
exactly.
generate as a business.
We could, if taxes weren't so onerous on us as individuals and us as corporate shareholders of our company, we could literally employ 2 people more than we employ right now. And we can literally have a space injecting money into the economy, injecting 2 more people that do not have a job right now, giving them a job and money to spend, giving a landholder and a building holder some income that he might invest into something else. Instead, the government just takes it. You know, like that's why I was so shocked when I was like, this is what we owe. And I know exactly what you guys are all gonna owe because we're all gonna owe the same exact amount of money.
Right.
That like, and everyone was just kind of had a glazed over look. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I mean,
You know
there's
what I mean?
nothing, there's nothing you can do about it. You can get angry about it, but then you have to kind of get out there and vote, right? I mean,
I do.
That's the
I
problem.
do.
Like, there's nothing you can do about it now. There's nothing like, and this is a discussion I had with my wife as well because we did our taxes, and I was like, God, this is so depressing. Like, we worked so hard, and we seemingly owe a lot of money. And in reality, you know, we did a lot of stuff last year. We took a nice vacation. We spent some money too, so it's not like I'm living hand to mouth or anything like that. But you just do start to feel like you have to sacrifice a lot of the pleasurable things in life in order to save or in order to come out ahead of you know, where you're at monetarily if you're in the middle class. And it sucks. It sucks having that feeling. It's very stressful. It's very stressful in a relationship. But I think the ultimate thing was she was just like, look, this is just the way it is. And the goal is to eventually have some write-offs and make a little bit more money and maybe, you know, skimp back on some stuff. Like maybe I don't need to go to Starbucks 5 times a day, which, you know, what she doesn't know can't hurt me. All right, Tim?
No, you bought coffee pods. Don't be.
I did. I bought
Starbucks.
decaf coffee pods.
Well, okay, but still, it kept him from
It's
going
fair.
to Starbucks
No,
as
he
much.
literally
today.
bought them at Starbucks. So
I was at Starbucks getting a coffee, and I was like, I'm going to get pods also. So it was actually a double
But
crime.
it's all right. So you're cutting it down. Though.
Yes.
Tomorrow you'll go fewer times.
Well, tomorrow, I will go once, and then I'll drink a decaf coffee here. I'm trying to switch to decaf as well because my overall anxiety level has risen in the last 2 months, and I read that caffeine does not help that. It exacerbates that. So
with this write-off stuff, another thing that I'm not clear on. If I were to have bought a car last year, like I did, does that do anything? Because I always hear people like, oh, you buy a new car, you get write-offs and shit. Does that affect me whatsoever? Because I bought a badass Prius C.
You did.
And it's
You should be able to
fucking cool
write
as
that
hell.
off as a green vehicle.
But I
Yeah.
mean, does that even like what am I writing that off against?
your 1099 miscellaneous.
So just
income.
the
if
miscellaneous
you
shit.
use the car to go to a job.
Okay,
Then you
so
can
that's the
write
only
that
way.
off.
So I
You
can't
can
write
write
it
off
off.
mileage. You can write off cars.
But
And he's right. You can probably get a green a write off for having an e-vehicle.
If I don't have any of that extra shit though, if I just have what we've done. Kind of funny, like my
No.
bullshit.
Can't write your coffin.
Even if I drive here every day
Yeah,
in my
doesn't matter.
cool ass Prius C.
Doesn't matter.
And
Yeah.
it's really cool though.
It is cool. I like it. I've driven in it. It's cool.
It's tiny as
It's what I would call an obnoxious color blue.
hell. Oh,
It is not. I like it.
It's the best color.
It's
I
like
get fucking
metallic
upset
royal blue.
when I see other cars that are more obnoxious blue than mine. I get upset. I'm jealous.
It's
It's jealous,
see. Now
really.
I know you're lying because there's no such thing. There's not. It's not possible for another car to be more. No. Again, if anyone's out there listening and you're there are probably some accountants that are pulling their hair out thinking we got everything wrong. Please go to an accountant. Do not take what we're saying by any stretch of the imagination as fact. Go get someone who has a degree in this to tell you whether or not you can do these things.
I mean, I don't think we said anything that.
No,
I mean,
I just want to
that's
make sure
nice.
people don't go, oh, I'm going to write my car off right now. And then the IRS goes, nope.
well,
you
that's
can't do
their
that.
problem. I just use TurboTax and
Right.
just get it all over with. Because because I saved receipts and stuff, and I'm like, I'm just not going to reach the threshold. Everyone gets this certain amount of money off, like shaved off their for some reason. This is the thing that's really confusing to me. When I was kidding around with Greg last night when I was reading things, like, have you ever just read the back of your W-2 or just read the back of your 1099?
It's absurd.
I've tried.
It is fucking insane that like we actually have this taxation system.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense. We shouldn't be writing off anything.
We have
Like
it
this is the thing. It's like, why do we even employ anyone at the IRS? Why can't we just have a flat fucking tax?
I don't know. That
what
would
I
be
mean?
so much easier. It would be so much easier just to pay a flat percentage tax.
Carly
and let it
Fiorina,
go.
who dropped out when she was running for the Republican nomination, would say like, I want the tax code to be 3 pages. Because right now it's like volumes like this big, like right next to each other. And it's like, that makes a lot of sense. Why is it like this? No one knows.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you bought uniforms for your business? You could write those off. And then we'll have someone at the IRS with his glasses like this just be, yeah, that checks out. We have to employ that guy and about 100,000 other ones. You know, with government jobs that they like. I want to read you guys something. I was looking this up before because one of the big things that we spend a lot of money on is military, which I think is insane. We should slash the shit out of the military and everything else that the federal government does. But it's so mandatory spending, and then we have mandatory spending and then discretionary spending. And by the way, about 15% of the money we spend is just servicing the debt, which we'll get into in a minute. We on science, energy and environment, international affairs, housing and community, veterans benefits, Medicare and health, education, government. All of that's one side of the pie chart. The other side, the military. And that accounts for, let's see, that entire chart counts for $1.1 trillion, which by the way is the amount of our deficit every year.
Yeah.
Because even though they take like $3.5 trillion, they still need more money. So they just borrow it and print it. And then they just keep this cycle going on. The government owes, what is it? Something like 5.5 times more money in debt than it collects per year. That's the equivalent of someone who makes $50,000 a year owing like almost $300,000 in debt. But still just being like, yeah, I'm good. You know, we're just going to keep rolling.
But
I owe
stop
I owe 5 times more money than I make. Which is insane. It's not a mortgage or some safe thing where, like, because everyone's like, well, what about your mortgage? It's like, that's an investment. The house is worth something. Like, the minute you pay your mortgage, as long as the market remains steady, you're making money.
Yeah.
It's an investment. These guys, these inept, stupid idiots in Washington just keep spending and spending and spending money. And we look around and we're like, I have no idea what you're even spending the money on. Literally no fucking clue.
I mean, you would probably know if you were like standing in Afghanistan right now.
Yeah, you might know.
You would know exactly
Yeah.
what we're spending money on. Like, hey, it's a pretty drone.
That's the thing that bothers me is that I believe in a social contract with taxation where like the federal government should have a tax. We should pay the federal government to exist. But they're controlling something like 25% of the economy just existing. You know, like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then you have these people that like are employed by them and you cannot fire them. Some of them are even unionized, which is ridiculous.
Also, they all get pensions and
Yeah.
retirement at the end. If you're a state
Meanwhile-
employee, you get paid forever.
I have no
Which I'm
problem.
not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that is something that we end up having to pay for.
I'm not an anarchist. Like, I don't believe that we shouldn't have a federal government. I'm just wondering, like, what in the hell are you doing with this much money? And why isn't it even enough? It's insane. Can you fathom how much money $3.5 trillion is?
No.
$3.5 trillion is what they just take.
I get excited
And
when
then
I
they're like,
find
this isn't
quarters in
enough.
my pocket.
And they're like, this isn't enough. And then some Republicans will be like, why don't we have a balanced budget amendment so you have to spend what you have? And they're like, no, we can't do that. Oh, no. Every state almost has a balanced budget amendment in their state constitution, but we can't. We are the federal government. We have to spend way more. We can print the money, so it doesn't really matter. And we'll just devalue everything you have in the bank and all of your investments as well while we do that. Oh, we just need $500 million. Let's print it. No big deal. And certainly because of our monetary system, now the dollar you have is worth like 85 cents. Sorry about that. You know, sorry about that. And then we'll just do the same thing next year. So people who this is the thing I'm mad about, Nick, is that the people who save and the people who live responsibly are the ones who suffer.
Yeah.
If you just put money in the bank and you don't do anything with it, and you just want to be safe and you just want to have a nest egg, well, you're losing money every year because of inflation, because the government causes inflation, because they have no fiscal responsibility, and then they come in and just put their hands in everyone's pockets, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's fine. Yeah, here you go. Just take everything I have."
Yeah.
You know, like just take everything I have. They would take everything that's not bolted down if they could get away with it. They really would. They would just come in and take everything from you.
See, we need to be those guys. Like, how do we make that happen?
We become the guys
We
who take
should
the
become,
things.
yeah. We should become those motherfuckers.
We just go to Zyger's house and
and then
take all
just
the
print
amiibos.
money, make all that shit happen. Calling for press 2016. Let's make it happen.
Dude,
I mean,
if I had power, absolute power, and which I wouldn't want to have because that's not part of our way of life. Like I would go and I'd be like, the government will now get $1.5 trillion a year instead of $3 trillion a year, which will now be reducing it by 10% every year until we get to maybe $1 trillion a year. And you're gonna figure out how to fucking make it work.
Yeah.
You know, because you cannot make that work. Like the federal government's not supposed to be this big bloated and not supposed to be this powerful. We do not need a military that polices the world with bases in all of these places, with naval ships in every body of water, with all this kind of stuff. I'm sorry, we do not need that. If we need to ramp up like we did during World War II, then we do that. It takes time, but we can do it. We have, you know, during World War II, Detroit was making tanks and planes. You know, like we take the car manufacturers and just be like, this is what you're going to do now. We're going to pay you. We were spending like 105% of GDP on the military during the war. And we ran up a massive debt, which is, by the way, what got us out of the Depression. You know, so it's like we can meet force with force when we need to, but we don't have to just meet force or meet anything with force.
Standing force.
You know, like it's
but calling the terrorists, the terrorists.
Don't forget.
Colin.
Have you forgotten? Don't
Don't
forget.
forget about those terrorists. They're everywhere.
and
Our platform
And they're
is no more
spreading.
9/11s.
that is true.
This is counterintuitive to
This
it.
is, no, please don't clap. But
I didn't finish yet. And minorities are good.
Okay, no, please.
Thank you, Kevin.
So to me, it's like when people say like, oh, but what about the clean water and all this? I'm like, guys, that's all fine. That's all well and good. That's not what I'm complaining about because that is not costing us anything. And that's like the thing it's like 5, 10, 15, 20. NASA gets like $18 billion. I'm like, this is nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Compared to what the government actually makes. And then what people lose sight of, and they only, and it's because it is an old adage that like as you become older and you have something to lose and you make money, you become a Republican. I mean, that's the way a lot of people do because they realize like, wow, what the fuck is going on here? That's not true for everyone. There are very rich Democrats, but it is to say that like, I just want people to open their eyes up a little more. Seriously, look at your W-2. Just look at it.
Or look at your paycheck every week.
Yeah. And like, just
Take a look at the taxes they're
at
taking
how
out
much,
of it.
and imagine what you would do with that money.
Right. I mean, and then especially if you're sitting in a city like San Francisco, look around as you step over the bums and wonder where all that money is going to. And I don't want to be insensitive. And by the way, my comment about obviously terrorism is a bad thing. We do need to combat it. I just don't feel like our military size and strength right now is actually being effective and efficient at doing that. But that's a whole other discussion for a different day. That is a very real threat. I don't want to speak ill of anyone that's over there fighting for us. But I mean, where does all this money go? When people say, well, what about the social programs and things like that? I'm like, where does it go? Like, I don't see it. No one sees it. I'm sure they pay for something, right? But
no, sure they're paying for something. But the idea is that like the federal government is clearly inept and also just inefficient. No one spends money more inefficiently than the federal government. No one. You know, which is why like so much shit should just be privatized. They should privatize Social Security. They should privatize all these things. They should privatize the subway system. They should privatize like everything just because companies run more efficiently when they're beholden to something.
yeah, when they're beholden to
They're not
shareholders.
beholden to anyone because most of this country is apathetic and they have no idea what the fuck's going on. So when I say something like, hey guys, the national debt is 6 times more than what the government takes from you every year. 6 times more. Everyone's like, oh, that sounds good to me.
That's debt. That's what that's supposed to be.
And I'm like, okay, so if you make $100,000 a year, that's like saying you owe $600,000.
So in 6 years, I'm out of it.
Yeah, Greg. In 6 years, you're out of it. That's exactly right.
That's the thing. That's to Colin's point, though. I mean, I don't know how long it would take to get out of it, but unless
We're never going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Never.
You gotta do something, though.
Ever. Because they can't even balance the budget. And then we still have to service the debt because we owe interest on the debt. And then they're suddenly going to be like, well, now I guess we'll whittle this down. Let's pay off $20 billion of the $20 trillion this year. It's like, oh, great, guys. Very good.
Yeah, good job.
You know, like we need to start saying like we need to pay this thing down like $1 trillion a year and like get rid of this debt, you know, this incredible debt that it's just not sustainable. So like I look at my taxes.
Yeah, but that's literally like you're talking about a cut across the board of half.
Oh, dude, I
order to
would
do that.
slash the shit out of the federal government
Right.
if I had like just like it would be game over for this bloated bullshit that they do.
But that's the
game
problem.
over.
How is anyone supposed to affect that kind of change in Washington though, right? Like, so okay, say we vote in a president, say Trump becomes president. How the hell is he supposed to affect any of this change? Is that even possible?
No, it's not. It's got this is the point of Bernie's like revolution that he wants to have this peaceful revolution where it's like, which I appreciate, except for he's on the other side where he wants them to somehow like I can't even say it straight. Like he wants to give the government more money and more power. I'm like, all right, like that's one idea.
Yeah.
But like at least he's saying like the problem can't be fixed by a figurehead. You need an ironclad Congress to go along with you as well because they control the purse. And that's why it's never going to happen. That's why electing someone like Bernie. I mean, Bernie Sanders is not going to win, but it's why electing someone like Bernie Sanders doesn't matter because he's not going to get anything at all that he wants. But like we need some common sense people in there to be like, what are we doing to businesses in America? Like, what are we doing? Like, instead of being like, these companies are evil and they invert and they try to get out of the United States and they have all these loopholes. The question should be like, why are there any loopholes to begin with? And can you really blame GE for not paying any taxes when you let them? You just sit there and let them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
They hire 50 attorneys to go through these books and they write everything off and they pay nothing. And you blame them for that? Why wouldn't they? It's in the fucking, they're not doing anything illegal. You know what I mean? Instead of just saying like, maybe every corporation should just pay 10%. Okay, that's it.
right.
No write-offs. That's it. You pay 10%.
Yeah, but I feel like
That's too easy.
I feel like the problem is though, and we don't want to go far down the rabbit hole on this, but the problem is like that every goddamn politician that would vote on that is backed by these corporations, right? Is backed by these people who are utilizing these loopholes to pay no taxes, to make more money, and to be quote unquote an evil corporation.
Right. Like, it's not that I disagree, like, because there is this movement, you know, on both sides where everyone's like, well, corporate welfare and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't disagree with you. The only thing is that these guys aren't doing anything illegal. You know what I mean? Like, they can hire GE and Microsoft and whoever, and Apple can just hire hordes of lawyers and just be like, you figure this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll pay you guys millions of dollars to save us billions of dollars. It does not matter to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And instead of just saying, well, the IRS is saying, well, the IRS doesn't even need to exist. The only reason the IRS even exists is to collect taxes, but really they exist to just go through all of this bullshit that they write and make up as they go along. Instead of just saying like, hey, all right, income tax, 15% for everybody. No write-offs, literally none. You just pay 15%.
Right.
You know? Corporate tax, 10%. That's it.
Yeah, but I feel like aren't the write-offs set up like for the housing market especially to incentivize people to go out there and invest in real estate?
Yeah, but the point is that if you lowered, it's there to help people, but
Right.
corporations can take care of it, and rich people take advantage of it too. But at the end of the day, if you just lower taxes to a more normal rate, it wouldn't matter because everyone would be saving money anyway. You know what I mean? Because what people lose sight of is that, okay, the government takes 25% of your money in income. They're going to take another 5 or 6 or 7% in FICA. The state's going to take about 8% from you. Then you go spend your money. You pay another 8% on that. You pay, you know, like you go to a toll road, you're paying for another tax. You buy your gas, you're paying a tax there. You buy an airplane ticket, you're paying taxes. It's like it never ends. And if you really looked at what you paid in taxes, like from top to bottom across everything,
Every receipt.
you're paying well over 50% of your money to taxes. They're just they'll take from you whatever you can, and people just lose sight of that. They're like, oh, the state income tax, yeah, not a big deal, or you know, I paid 5% on sales tax on this. I'm like, don't you understand that money was already taxed like 3 times? Like they already taxed it.
Yeah, so I mean, you have to also the responsibility also has to come down to the individual, right? You're talking about a flat tax of 15%. People will just spend the extra money. In reality, no one will be incentivized to go out and buy a house because what most human, I'm not talking about us, but what most human beings I think do, especially in the States, is go, oh, I've got an extra $10. I'm gonna go spend this.
But that's
extra
good.
$10.
That's good.
Yeah, but I mean, then you're talking about property taking a huge dive because no one would invest in houses if there wasn't an incentive.
That's
to do
fine
it.
too. Everything might be bloated. The market, see, with this system, the market can't like there's nothing
Can't self-correct.
There's no self-correction. I mean, everything's
Right.
inflated and bloated. Banking system's fucked up. The real estate system's fucked up. Everything's fucked up because there's just an infusion of weird ideas and weird capital from all these weird places, kind of buttressed by bizarre rules, Byzantine rules that no one understands. So like the IRS scares the little man into paying a lot of money, which is where the middle class gets fucked, and the big corporations have enough money to just be like, well, we're not paying anything. But can you blame them? Like,
No,
like
I want to be that
that's-
corporation.
That's my
wanna
whole
get to that
thing where
place.
everyone's like
To
these
Tim's
evil
point.
corporations and the evil 1%. I'm like, guys, they're playing like these are the rules. Like
Dude,
why? Like what? And I'm like, what? Let's just change the game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but
like,
it's so much easier. Like to me, I look at these two options that we have on the table, right? One, having a mass revolution in Washington to the point where everyone actually decides to start doing the actual right thing, not the thing that benefits them or their, you know, whatever, whoever their lobbyists are, but the right thing. That's way harder than us just putting our heads together and go, how can we make the biggest, best company out there that has a lot of resources that we can go out there and actually take advantage of some of these things? Like that's the only real solution we have, right? As individuals, you just have to try and get to that next level of saying like, hey, we're finally there. We got that FU money. Hey, federal government, fuck you, right? I don't know.
What if a shit ton of people are just like, I'm not doing this.
I've always said that. So this is the whole idea of the opt out, which really started kind of gaining notoriety with the Fourth Amendment infringements at the airport. Where what if one day everyone that went to the airport on June 1st, right? We're like, nope, we're not going through those machines, you know? And
Right.
and like, it would just back everything up. Planes would be delayed and canceled, whatever, and the airline lobby in Washington would be like, we need to fix this right the fuck now. Like, it would be fixed like that, and you wouldn't be going through some machines anymore. But it takes like a concerted effort, and it takes selflessness. Because what you're going to have in that situation is people be like, well, I'm going on my trip, and I'm going on my trip, and blah, blah, blah.
Right,
Instead,
exactly.
everyone standing together and be like, no, we're not doing this anymore. And so the thing with the IRS, I've said that before in the past. What if 150 million people were like, nope, we're not paying? You know? Like,
Yeah.
like the system.
I'm down.
The
Who's
system,
with me?
The system would not even be able to like go in because they could go to your bank accounts and start garnishing
Yeah, that's
wages. But they're not
probably
even
what
set
they'd
to
do.
do that to that many people. You know what I mean? Like they can't.
They'd
And,
figure
like,
out a way.
But like the point is that even if they did that, the point would be made. Like we're together and like we know that this is wrong, but that takes part of the American identity is rugged individualism, and it makes it really hard for us to stand together and be like, well, we need to fight for a common cause. We don't do it very often. You know, that's why our politics are totally bipartisan. That's why there's a split down the middle with everything. Every pro-life, pro-choice, gay marriage, anti-gay marriage, whatever it is. No one can stand together for what's right. They stand together for what they think is right or wrong, whatever, and that's fine. I mean, that's your prerogative. But I agree. Like I've thought about that in the past, where I'm like, what if everyone's just like, we're not doing this anymore? You know, you're stealing from us.
So, I mean, in recent years, we've seen that sort of energy come from various different interest groups, right? Well, I don't know if interest groups is the right term, but various different groups, right? So you've seen it come from the gay community, you've seen it come from the feminist community. Do you see that happening realistically in the next 10 to 20 years?
No, I don't.
Do you
I think
really
it's
see,
gonna
like-
I think it's going to get worse.
So I feel like that's my
It's
problem.
going to
'cause I
keep
feel like we're
going
just gonna
until it all
hit
collapses.
Yeah.
That's why I was excited when the banks were going to collapse. I was like, oh, this is great. Like, it's going to suck for a lot of people and for me and everybody else for a while, but at least something will actually happen. There'll actually be a change. And then they just bail them out. Like, all right, everything's still totally
Yeah, I mean,
stupid. Great.
Yeah, that's the whole argument about was the bailout right or wrong? Because I mean, like the fact of the matter is, like the banking system would have collapsed. It would have been catastrophic. You know what I mean? Like,
But it would have
like
been a real change.
there would have been maybe a revolution.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you don't. Part of me would never want to see what happens when something like the banking collapse, where everyone went into their savings accounts in certain banks where their money was gone. You know what I mean? Or like, and the FDIC protects your money, but who knows what happened? I mean, those rules were written in the 30s. Like, who knows like what that really looks like? Or like people's investments are just wiped out, and then and then 50% unemployment and stuff like that. There's no liquid capital, no one's lending money, all that kind of stuff. It would have been awful. But the argument for it was that like, well, that the books would have been totally cleaned. All of the toxic debt gone, everything that was wrong gone.
The big
And then
thing
you
is
start
like
from the
all we've
back-
done is delayed it, right?
Yep.
It's still going to happen.
It's just
This
gonna
is
be
still
worse.
exactly. We have to suck it up and deal with this eventually.
They were going
The
to let
debt
it,
of America catches up to America eventually.
they were going to let it go. Like when AIG and Bear Stearns and all that kind of stuff happened, like they tipped the first domino. And then when the market fucking collapsed, the collapse, like, oh no, never mind. You know, like that was like what happened. They tipped the dominoes, like fuck it. And then like that weekend, I mean, there's a great front line. I think it's like 4 hours long. I can't remember what it's called.
Isn't it not too big to fail, right?
Something like that, where it's awesome. It's about that. There's a specific weekend in September 2008 where all of the banking executives were called to Washington by Hank Paulson, and who was the Treasury Secretary at the time, and been like, if we don't fix this right now on Monday, the market's going to collapse. Like, that's it. It's over. So like they had like 12 CEOs in the room, and they're like, so what we're going to do is we're giving you each a bunch of money to liquidize. Like, to stay liquid, your banks or whatever. And some of the banks, like I think Wells Fargo was one of the ones, like, we don't want your fucking money. And they're like, you're going to take the fucking money. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Wells
But they
Fargo.
owe, I mean, those banks do owe that money back.
yeah,
though,
they do,
right?
and that's what they were saying. Wells Fargo was making an argument like, we're fine.
Right.
Meanwhile, Bank of America sitting next to them being like, we're not fine.
We'll take it.
You know,
We'll take your money.
and it's a fascinating documentary, a really fascinating insight because they talked to a lot of
Money,
congressmen and
power, and
senators.
Wall Street.
Yeah, like they talked to a lot of congressmen and senators where they're like, the way they were talking about what was going to happen was like apocalyptic. It wasn't even
it
like
would've been terrible.
it wasn't even a joke. Like they were like the depression would have been a joke compared to like what would have happened if the banking system collapsed.
Well, yeah,
for
I
the
mean-
entire world, by the way, not only us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because
And that's why I think that's where the moral imperative was, where we're like, we can't do this to everyone. I think that was like kind of one of the things is like maybe if it was self-contained, maybe we would be okay, but we will fuck everybody.
Yeah,
You know?
it'd be anarchy.
Yep.
At that point, because I mean, imagine if you had in one foul swoop nothing in the bank. The bank's gone. You just don't know. There's nothing in there. Your life savings gone, and unemployment hits, and you lose your job. What do you do? What do you do?
It's an insane.
You're gonna go up to Tahoe and live off the grounds? Off the ground. It's not gonna happen. What are you gonna do? Chaos, rioting, looting, all that shit. That's what happens.
and
It's
that's why-
basically The Walking Dead.
And that's why they voted for
Mass
the bailout.
hysteria.
And that's why if I was in the Senate
Dogs
or
and
House,
cats.
it's way easier for me to say now, not being in those hearings, those private behind closed doors hearings, whatever, where everyone gave busted these guys balls for voting for the bailout. I probably would have voted for it too, because I would have been like, well, like, how am I supposed to go home to my constituency and be like,
Sorry,
sorry guys,
fucked.
like, we'll be fine in 10 years, but like right now,
It's gonna suck.
yeah,
A lot
like,
of you
I'm
are
gonna keep
die.
my job, but like, and I'll be in Washington for at least another year and a half, and I'll make my $170,000 a year. But you guys, I'm sorry to say, are fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Like, so I understand why they voted that way, but beyond all of that, beyond all the hypotheticals, whatever, like taxation, there is a place in the social contract for taxation. The Romans taxed their citizens about 5%, and it paid for roads, and it paid for their aqueducts, and it paid for their entertainment at the Colosseum, and all these kinds of things. And at some point, like taxation has gotten so out of control that it's like expected that the government's just there to take care of you. But my argument, I put forward that what we pay to the government is not what we get back from it. At least not us. And they are categorically strangling small businesses. And that's not just a talking point for me as a Republican now. That is what is happening. They went into our pockets and took a lot of money from us for no good reason that we could have really employed someone else. We could have invested that money. We could have done a bigger and better kind of Funny Live. We could have gotten a big space, and that money goes back into the economy. I really do put forward that like there is a massive problem, and yeah, like the big corporations can afford it, but we can't. And most of the people in the United States are employed by people like us, and so there's a big problem. And when I was looking at my numbers, I was like, okay, fine, I can afford it. I'll just pay it. It sucks, but this is what I have to do to get this monkey off my back until next year when they're going to be back digging back into my pockets again.
Deeper.
But deeper but my thing is like I wrote on Facebook, and I got like 850 likes about it, just saying like this is like your fucking head would spin if you knew what we paid. And it's amazing how anyone can be employed in this country. Think about like our old jobs. Like this was happening to them too. Like, and they had to but they had like all like 200 people working for them or whatever. And my whole, and what I noticed was the likes. I was going through the likes of the people I actually know as opposed to just our fans or readers or whatever, listeners. And what I noticed was the common theme between people check marking it. My friend that owns a greenhouse company, my friend that owns a PR company, my friend that, owns an animation studio, my friend that, does graphic design, my
All these
friend
people in
that's
the same
freelance.
boat.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and like, it was just check, like,
don't even get- dude,
from
you
people
think
that know exactly what I'm talking about.
You think it's bad? At least we made a corporation. It's even worse if you're self-employed because you have to pay self-employment tax, and there's all sorts of shit that goes
Like,
along with that.
why? That's what I'm
Because
saying. It's like, what is
I don't
self-employment
know.
tax?
I don't know. I don't understand why you're basically punished for starting something and trying to run your own business in this country. I just don't understand it. I don't know why it's built that way. And even then, even when you get up to like working for an Apple or something like that, you're still taxed like crazy. I don't understand how anyone exists below a certain line of income in this country. I just don't get it. Now, granted, our perspective is a little skewed since we live in the fucking like worst possible area to be living for rent and real estate, which is San Francisco, which is the highest market in the United States by far at this point. But still, like you're living in Southern California, you're living in LA. I don't know. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous how much you have to pay versus what you get for your money. It's just ridiculous. I don't know.
And that was the thing. People were like, well, just leave California, go to Texas. I'm like, dude, my state income tax is not even a drop in the bucket compared to what I owe to the federal government. If I go to Wyoming, I'm still going to owe them that same amount of money. If I go to Texas, I'm going to owe them the same amount of money.
Well, it's not that, but it's one of those things where I don't mind I don't mind paying it. You know, one way or the other, like I said, I'm just the kind of person that if you give me more money, I'm probably going to find a way to spend it. But what's the money going toward, right? It's just, to your point, it's just going toward more debt, more bad debt, bigger military, a bunch of social programs that don't
Pork
work.
barrel spending, bunch of bullshit.
Well, all these social programs that aren't going to be there for when we want to retire that we're paying
no
into
way.
right now.
No way.
And it's absurd. Like if I could opt out of paying for
Social Security.
Social Security, I would totally.
I would
out of
opt
that.
the shit. I would opt out of that.
Like take it out. No. I don't want that. I want that money right now.
Yeah,
Put it
like
in
that,
an
and
account.
that's the thing, and that's why I frankly I find, like, you know, and I know, like, I get into a lot of heated discussions and arguments with some of our user base that are very liberal or whatever, and that's fine. I mean, you know, you have to be open to different ideas, and I am, but that's why I find Bernie Sanders' ideas cartoonish. Because there's a guy literally walking around being like, no, we should pay more for Social Security and make it better and pay more people
Right.
more
Who's going
Social
to make
Security.
it better, right?
I'm like, are you
How's that gonna
kidding me?
happen?
Have you looked at my pay stub lately? You know, or a guy like, oh, we're gonna raise everyone's income tax 2 to 3%. Oh, good. That's great. Like, I'm like, where's the pragmatism of saying, let's spend less. Let's people work for their money. I don't want the government to take care of me. I don't need them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, let them do the functions that they're supposed to do. A military, the EPA's fine, NASA's fine, the arts and humanities fine. They all don't cost anything. But this bloated military, this government that employs tens of millions of people in some fashion through direct means or through contracts and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, why? Like, why? The federal government doesn't exist just to exist. It exists to serve the people.
It'll never change, though. It'll never change because all those contracts that are getting doled out to all these big defense companies are the ones that are paying to get these people in office to vote for them. It's a shitty cycle.
It's terrible, dude. Like, it's just, and
That's why we need. That's why voter reform is probably the single most important thing we need. We need campaign reform. We need to more people like Trump who enter who aren't swayed by anyone, who can just go in there and actually say what's what. That's why I think people. I mean, that's why a lot of people respond to Trump so positively, even though what he's saying is completely ridiculous. Is just because they know he's not backed by anyone. There's no, like when you hear Clinton talk, it's almost like her mouth's moving, but someone else is pulling the
yeah,
strings.
she's like a marionette.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But frankly, so like
And it's
that is why.
practiced and it's rehearsed and it's exactly what she needs to say.
That's why. I mean, that's why. Like, yeah, Trump really is. You know, Trump's he's interesting politically to me. He's not my candidate, but that is true. Like, he doesn't give a fuck because
care.
no one's paying him. He doesn't want anyone's money. He like specifically is like, no super PAC money, no donations. I don't want any of it. So it's an interesting dynamic. That's a whole nother thing. Money in politics. I still think that's an overblown problem too. But a good example is that Bush spent something like 9 times more money in New Hampshire than Trump did, but Trump won.
I don't
So
mean that. I just mean that the fact that people that it's actually legal for a corporation to back you as an individual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the corporation's treated as yes.
Right.
The Citizens United
It's
case.
legal for them to back you, and then when you get in office, it's legal for them to basically expect something from that backing.
Well, of course, that's why everyone that's why you donate money. And I donated money to Mitt Romney or Ron Paul.
Right.
It wasn't because I was like, I'm gonna knock on the door and be like,
You're gonna
President
stay in the
Romney.
Lincoln
But
bedroom.
I'm doing this because I want lower taxes. That's specifically why I was. And
Sure,
I want,
but
and like,
the problem comes in when not Boeing, like Lockheed Martin does that, right? And they do that to make sure that they get a government contract that's supposed to be pretty healthy for the year 2017.
Yeah, no
And
big
if there's
contracts.
no wars, can't have that contract, right? So we got to start a war. Well, in order to have war, we need a bigger military, and that's how this starts to spiral downward. It's a huge fucking problem.
it is. So I know we're running long, but I want people to just like listen. No matter if you're American or not, like we can all have different opinions on taxation and all that kind of stuff. But do stay engaged. Apathy is the enemy. If you support higher taxes, at least you should still stay engaged. I don't know why you'd support higher taxes, but to each his own. So stay engaged, and I really encourage people, our American friends, because I don't know how people are paid overseas in terms of what their W-2s are called. I'm sure it's not as obtuse.
The OA2.
I think
Look
I
at-
think it's even worse in London.
look at your-
anyone in England talks about their
Oh yeah,
tax
because
structure,
they pay income tax and they pay a VAT and all that kind of stuff.
They're just like, you're lucky.
I like the VAT as a replacement for the income tax, but that's not going to happen. And just look at your W-2. Just look at it. Just really study it and imagine that $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 that they robbed from you. Imagine what you might have done with half of it. Let them take half of it, but imagine what you could have done with $5,000 or $10,000. Imagine that money being infused into a local business, and you're buying a cup of coffee every day now that you can do that, or you're buying building materials to paint your house, or do some molding in your house. Or like there are economic ramifications for giving people more money and letting them keep their money, because I'm telling you right now, the government does not move the economy; the individual moves the economy. And if you want a vibrant economy full of a lot of money and a lot of moving parts, let people keep their money. If you want to strangle the shit out of businesses like ours has been strangled, then and we are not unique. Every small business out there, a lot of people have reached out to me, privately and publicly about like, you're right. I own X business and it is fucking insane. I owned a business for 30 years and I had to close it down because it was not worth it.
Yeah.
We were profitable, but they'd come in and just take everything. Like there's so many people, man, that understand where we are. And the small business thing is not a talking point for me anymore. When these guys walk around and talk about, how we're being taxed to death in these town hall meetings and stuff like that. Like I get you guys now. Like I really do get it. Like it hurts because you're getting hit with both fists from both sides, your personal income, all that kind of stuff. And then they just take your corporate stuff too. They just take your company stuff and it sucks. And I'm always, sorry if people get tired of it. I'm always going to bitch about it. Always. But I'm voting and I'm trying to stay engaged and I'm trying to get candidates in there that can hopefully change it. When a candidate says to me, like, I want to lower your taxes, I'm like, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Don't care who you are.
Let me know
left
when
or,
you want to make the stand.
left or
I'm
right.
fucking there.
When we don't pay our taxes?
Yeah. Oh,
Tim-
of course.
Tim will not make the stand on the airlines. Though.
I'm not-
He loves Virgin America way too much. He will
Well,
not.
no,
go on
That's
that
that
too.
flight.
TSA, though.
Are you kidding me?
That's different.
I like mobs. I'm
That's
just
true.
involved.
You do.
Tim
like
loves
to
a
incite
good
mobs.
mob, is what they say. Ladies and gentlemen, that topic was brought to you by Squarespace. Start your free trial site today at squarespace.com. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use the offer code KINDAFUNNY to get 10% off your first purchase. Building a website can be tough, and even if you do know your way around coding, creating something that looks good and works well is a time-consuming affair. Whether it's for a business site, a portfolio, or a restaurant, or whatever else, sorry, your small business is going to be fucked, we just found out. In this day and age, you probably need one anyway. Well, lucky for us, Squarespace makes it easy to build beautiful websites without breaking a sweat. Squarespace provides simple, powerful, and beautiful websites that look professionally designed regardless of skill level, no coding required. You can't beat the ease and simplicity of Squarespace. Squarespace gives you 24/7 online support to build a beautiful website. So what are you waiting for? Start your free trial with no credit card required and start building your website today. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use the offer code KINDAFUNNY, all one word, to get 10% off your first purchase and to show your support for Kinda Funny. Tim,
Yes.
what's your topic?
Is exercise worth it? I've been struggling with this my entire life. I've always been like, nope, it's not. Still thinking it's not.
Yeah?
But
But you're not fat.
I know, but I'm not thin. I'm also
You're not fat?
I'm not fat. That is for sure, right?
Sure.
And I feel like as my life has progressed, I've only gotten more not fat.
Right.
You've
You know
gotten
what I mean?
further away from skinny, but
yeah.
not
So,
fat, closer to fat.
A big thing for me is I realized, it's not until you look at old pictures of you, or in this case, old videos of you,
Sure.
where you're like, oh shit, like I looked like that. And then the crazy part is I remember how I felt at that moment and feeling like I was not fat then. You know what I mean? And I remember being like, man, I remember being like, not thrilled about my body image at that point. And now I'm like, well, shit, compare this to this. And it's like, if that guy could think about this guy, he'd be appalled, And I feel like that just keeps happening. And I keep having my like comfort level just keeps slipping a little bit more and more.
But you keep letting
that
it.
way. And I just keep letting it because it's fun and because I enjoy it.
Sure.
I like food. I like not
Sleep.
doing
Yeah.
things. Yeah. So it's like, it's hard,
Sure.
but I'm also comfortable with it.
Right.
So that's the thing.
I think that's the thing, finding your comfort level.
So it's hard for me to wrap my head around people enjoying exercise.
Sure.
But as I get older, I feel more and more people do. Like they genuinely enjoy running or genuinely enjoy doing this. I'm not talking about people that are into sports. They're into sports. I get that.
Sure.
That's I don't even count that. It is exercise, but that's different. I'm talking about people that are like, I'm just going to go to the gym. I'm just going to work out. And unless you're that obscene Alfredo level of like, I like looking good. This is the point of my existence.
Sure.
Like just being a normal motherfucker like one of us. I can't imagine enjoying doing that stuff. Like there's the kids back in high school that did the track and field and like
These cross-country fucks.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's go run in the woods.
They grew
for
up and
3
who knows
hours.
whatever the fuck they're up to, but they're weird. They're the weird
Very weird.
motherfuckers.
Agreed.
But I'm talking about the normal people like us.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do, man? Am I supposed to not enjoy ice cream?
No, I think you're supposed to enjoy it in moderation and then do something so your heart doesn't die. Yeah. That's what I think. You said, yeah, your question is exercise worth it? Probably, right? It adds years to your life. You're not going to die of a heart attack. You're not going to sweat when you shouldn't be sweating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the thing that hurts me the most is
Lay it on me. You're in a safe place.
I feel way better when I do exercise.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I want to make sure I put quotes around
What
this.
do the quotes
Because
mean?
people talk to me and they're like,
What do you mean by exercise?
Tim, you should run, right?
you don't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, I'll do that. And it's like their idea of running is
Is
like,
this Gia? Is this Gia?
well, yeah,
People
it's
talking
Gia,
to
my
you?
girlfriend,
Okay.
and also my friend, like just people in the, like, I don't know, normal people my age. It's not even just people that like Gia. Her thing is fitness. She likes that shit. So
Sure.
it's like, all right, cool. I'm talking about just normal motherfuckers. Like they have day jobs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm like, they're like, oh, I ran 3 miles today. And I'm like, wow, I've never ran 3 miles in my life. Sure. Like, when's the last time I ran a mile? High school when I had to. And back then, I ran a pretty fast mile. Now, if I had to run a mile, probably wouldn't be that fast.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I could. But when people are like, oh, you should try running. And I'm like, all right, I'll do that. I'm running to my limits, which pretty much means I ran for about a minute and a half. As far as that got me,
Sure.
that's how far I ran.
But that's
And
exercise.
if I were to keep it going,
Yeah.
I could probably get it up to a good 3 minutes. You know what I mean? But like, I just can't imagine the people, guys that are like, I ran an hour today. Holy shit!
Yeah. So I mean, it depends on a lot of factors, right? Everyone's body is different. So what's good for you might not be good for Colin, might not be good for Greg or me, for sure.
What's
But
good
if
for
you
the
just-
goose is good for the gander. I
Might
still don't
not
know
be
what that
good for
means.
the gander. I don't know what it means either. I also don't know.
What's
can't
good
see
for
the tree
one
the
goose is
forest
good
either.
for the entire gander.
Right. So that's certainly not the case as far as nutrition and exercise are concerned, right? Look at the different body types between you and me, right? You are taller than me. You are naturally skinnier than I am. You have
I
a
don't
natural.
know.
You are. I have a natural, more squatty frame. We just have different body types, right? And Colin has a very different body type to me, and Greg has a very different body type to me. So I don't know necessarily what level of exercise versus like what level of like intensity for exercise would work better for his body versus for mine. But what I do know is that if you have to have one or the other, and generally paired together, they're the best. But proper nutrition by far is much more impactful to your health than exercise, as far as my experience has been concerned. Now, I don't mean when I say exercise, I'm not talking about running for an hour because I don't necessarily. I've never been that kind of person. If that's you and that's what you want to do, to each his own, go for it. I don't think you need to run for an hour every day to be quote unquote fit. I don't think you need to run for an hour every day to be healthy. If that's what you want to do and you get, you're inspired by sort of the milestones of that, great, fantastic. If you're not noticing any bad things happening to your body, like muscle loss or any of that stuff, go for it. Cool. But I think a lot of nutritionists and a lot of personal trainers will say, there's one adage that stuck with me, which is abs are made in the kitchen. So if you want a six pack, the number one thing everyone's going to tell you is you gotta make sure you're on the right diet for that. Otherwise, you're just not going to burn any fat. You'll gain muscle from some of these exercises, or in some cases, if you're going really, really hard as far as exercise is concerned, and you're not doing it correctly, you're not backing it up with proper nutrition, you might actually go into your muscle reserves and start burning muscle. And that happens to a lot of marathon runners. That's why marathon runners tend to be really, really skinny. Because after a certain point, they've burned through all the fat and all the carbohydrates that are in their system, and their body goes, I need something else. Let's take muscle. Let's burn that.
I once read a Maxim article about this marathon runner, and he would get pizzas delivered to him while I ran.
Yeah,
I thought that's the fucking life. So I started doing that, just not without the running.
But so to your, that's awesome. That's great. No, I'm glad you got one part of it down, and that's what I would tell you, Tim. Like, for me, I struggle with this too, because I go in bouts of like, I'll work out 5 days a week and feel really good about myself. And it does alter your mental state.
And so that's kind of what I was
all
saying.
these great hormones and endorphins and all these things that kind of keep you going motivated in a very positive way.
Running, and like when I do run or I do like lightly work out, I've never been to a gym once in my life. But like I'll go in bouts where I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups and running a little bit and whatever for my 1.5 minutes. And like it sucks. Doing it sucks. It hurts. I don't understand how people can enjoy
Real quick
it.
time out. Do you
stops
run a
hurting after a
minute and a
while.
half from the house, stop, and walk back?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Well, but that's the other thing too, is you don't necessarily need to go. You don't need to start at running. For you, I would, if I were, again, I'm not a personal trainer, but for you, I would say, look at what you've done in just cutting soda out of your diet. You lost weight, right?
Yeah, I mean that shit, and that's
You're
the
eating
thing
a
is I have a
salad
go-to.
with healthy greens
Yeah,
and
it's something.
protein on top of it, and
Sucks,
guess look
doesn't
what
it?
happened.
It does suck.
You lost weight, but you probably feel better.
So that's the thing. I don't feel better really in terms of like cutting that stuff out. The feeling better comes from after the excruciating pain of running and like doing shit. It's the day after. Everything hurts a little bit, but then it's the day after that where I'm like, I feel better. I definitely feel better. And that pains me to say.
You should
because I
wa-
wish that wasn't true.
Well, no, but again, that's your body sort of rebuilding itself and building muscle and increasing flexibility, increasing, cardiovascular activity. You do feel when you work out your body, it allows your body to actually work better. And that's the thing, when you build muscle in the right place and you build strength and you build flexibility and all those things, you do feel better because your body literally, the car is actually working better. So guess what? It can go faster. You know, it burns less fuel to go faster and farther. And that's what your body does as well. But you don't have to go to these extremes. I don't believe that most people do, like when you have friends that are marathon runners or a jog, or like friends that have to do these intense sports every day. Like, I don't think you need to do that in order to be quote unquote healthy.
Well,
and
yeah,
fit.
like I was saying,
For you,
that's
I would just say
different.
walk.
Yeah,
Start
well,
walking.
I walk a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
go
that's
for
the
a
one thing I
20-minute
got
walk
going for me.
with Gia, you know, at night. Well, you know, when you're with
Yeah.
her, go for a
Gia.
20-minute walk at night with her, right? Maybe a 30-minute walk. You talk, you walk at a brisk pace. It's great for you.
Yeah, I'm down with the walking. I
Right.
can walk forever.
And then pick 1 day a week or 2 days a week where you try something a little harder. But I can tell you this, when it comes to lifting or any of those more like aerobic or anaerobic style like exercises, they get easier the more you do them.
exactly, and that's
then you get
thing.
the appreciation for going, oh man, I couldn't lift that last week, but I can lift it this week. That's
Yeah.
weird. Am I feeling better, or do I just have
What are these
more
muscles?
mass, right? Can I just feel like my wife finally, after a long time of me sort of asking her to do this with me, started doing more strength training with me. And I think this is incredibly important for women, because the one thing women don't do is they don't do strength training most of the time, right? If you look at the most traditional quote unquote women activities, it's like yoga, spin, jogging, but it doesn't really have a lot to do with training your upper or lower body in these big muscle mass groups. And you get a lot of benefits from that. And so my wife started doing that, and she has like fallen in love with it because she can see definition in her muscles, and she's feeling the strength. And like, for every pound of muscle that you put on yourself, or I don't know the ratio, it takes that much more for your body to burn to sustain that, right? So if you pack more muscle on, your body physically has to work harder to keep that muscle on, which means if you do it right with nutrition, it has to burn fat to do that. And so she's seeing that cyclical benefit from it of eating well, gives her more energy to go work out, and she works a little harder, which burns more fat, which makes her feel good. So she'll eat well, and she'll keep going and spiraling. And finally, she's at a point right now where she looks better than she's ever looked. And I've been with her for 8 years. Now I've always thought she was beautiful, but I look at her now, I'm like, I'm so proud of you and all she does is she does spin once a week, yoga twice a week, and like lifts once a week. And then we walk a lot. We just walk a lot. We have this weird little like, you know, we just are constantly moving, constantly just burning calories here and there, which I think is good for you, you know, but that works for us. Again, maybe you just need to get into kickboxing and do kickboxing
Yeah, I
6
don't know
days a
about
week
that.
and shred
I
your
miss my
abs and get
DDR
flexible.
days. That was when I was fittest.
But that's because you probably spent an hour playing that game every day.
Exactly.
And you burn like 400 calories,
Yeah.
and then you're like, shit, I need to go replenish this with, you know, lean protein and some good fats.
I
and
probably
some,
did that. Yeah.
and like
That's
minimal
what
carbs.
the number one at McDonald's is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, you're
Can I
lucky
get
right
the
now.
Signore's lean fat, good protein pizza?
But I've seen it in all of you. I've seen when you guys make the concerted effort, especially in call, where like you make the concerted effort, you're gonna get up, you're gonna work out, you're gonna, you know, try to eat a little healthier, do all this stuff. It works. It really does work. Like there's not a ton of magic to it. Like when I'm up late at night, like I was last night, just whittling through a fucking log of cheese, I'm like, I know this isn't good for me. I probably shouldn't be doing this. I should stop doing this. But it's episode 6 of the X-Files, and it's not very good. And I just want something to be good in my life right now. So here we go.
The cheese is the
Just
answer.
destroy that Chloe Jack. But anyway, that's my recommendation is I would do
no, it
nutrition
makes
first.
sense.
Make sure you got your diet on lock, and
I'm
then
trying.
slowly
I'm
but surely work
trying
in
a
some
little bit
exercise.
with that. It's hard. It's not really that hard. It's just hard in the sense of I wish that good food came easier. You know, it's so easy to get not good food.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I just wish, I want to pay someone to just fucking give me shit and deal with it.
They
You
literally,
can do
that
that.
literally happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
you
there's
can
a
do
lot of
that.
places.
Well,
you
let's
can
make
get your
that
food
happen.
delivered.
I don't want to pay hell though.
Munchery, yeah,
No.
there you go. Yeah.
See, I need substance though. I don't want them coming with the
It's got the
bullshit-
lean
bullshit little
proteins.
like, you know.
The greens
Here's like
and the
3
lean
leaves and whatever.
proteins.
That's why the Starbucks like salad things I get, I'm all right with because like there's at least a fair amount of leaves that I'm eating.
Seeing as how lunch seems to be the hardest thing around here, we just end up Marnie Ty all the time. We should all do. We should do Munchery.
I would
Yeah.
totally
I
do
would
that.
get down to Munchery. Just have them bring meals here. We don't have to worry about.
I would do it because when you said, because recently I've been tracking a lot.
We
of-
aren't sponsored by Munchery, by the way.
We are not. That'd be amazing for it. But recently, I've been tracking all of my nutrition, like everything that goes into my body and all my macros, and I'm actually getting to the point where I'm trying to look into like what fats I'm getting in my diet and things like that. And it's very, very surprising that on a, you know, when that you look down at the minerals and vitamins that you're supposed to have, and it says X amount of percentage out of 100%, the vast majority of people in the United States never hit those levels every day. And those things are what rebuilds all of your cells, which rebuild all your muscles and all your brain tissues and all these things and help your body to function. And so if you're not getting those things, your body is just not running to its fullest potential. And you don't get those things from French fries or from, you know, all the shit that's good to eat. You just don't. You don't get as much of them from them, right? You don't get a lot of vitamins and minerals from your standard McDonald's.
I mean, you know what really
meal.
sucks? That bananas are supposedly not the best thing for you.
They're
Like,
very
I
high
fucking
in,
love
in
bananas.
fructose.
I would eat 1,000 bananas, and that's a problem.
they're
You're not
great to
supposed
you.
to do that.
Well,
Didn't know that.
If you're potassium deficient, then they're a pretty good source of that. But the problem is a lot of those fruits that we love have a little too much natural sugars in them, too much fructose, and so
Goddamn bananas.
those can overdo it. But again, it depends on what diet you're working. For you, just look at your calories.
Yeah.
This is what I always tell anyone that's trying to lose weight, on the get-go. You don't have to go crazy with it. Just if you're severely overweight or if you need help, either go to a nutritionist or download an app where you look at your calories and log them. And you will just be astounded most of the time. I was fucking astounded. I went from 220 to 190 just by logging my calories every day and going, oh my God, that meal. And you got to be honest with yourself. You can't fucking be like, maybe it was only like a half an ounce when you had a whole fucking jar of mayonnaise or something like that. But look at the calories you're ingesting and you'll be astounded by how fucking far off the map you are. If you're on a 2,000 calorie diet, try to limit yourself to that. Try. And then when you go to places, just try to pick the healthiest thing you can possibly find on the menu.
Yeah.
Generally, it's going to be a salad. Sorry, I hate to burst everyone's bubble. It's usually a giant salad. Get the dressing on the side and just dip it in.
Well, I mean, it's all baby steps, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what he's doing with Coke right now, but it's as simple as, like, you know, I remember when I moved over to yogurt for breakfast, right? Because I was like at IGN, I was like, maybe I'll do a breakfast burrito. I've been going across the street all the time, right? Breakfast burrito, maybe a bagel, maybe this yogurt. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I really like yogurt. And I'm like, well, yogurt's actually probably good for you, right? You look and you're like, oh, this is good for you. I'm like, well, fuck, I'll do something for my body and replace that one meal with just yogurt, right? And then you lose weight off of that. I'm like, oh, that was cool. And it's the same thing with lunch, right? Like, have a healthier lunch and then do whatever the fuck you want at dinner. Fuck right off at dinner.
Sure. Or I mean, yeah, and that's a perfect place to start, right? Like, I'm not one of those people that you're going to find on YouTube who's like, here's how you get fucking shredded abs. If I could figure
They're
that
watching
out,
this video right now.
it'd be amazing, right? But I'm just talking about feeling good about yourself and trying to have some sort of system that works for you, where you can lose weight and feel good, and that's it. I mean, I'm not talking about, like, obviously, I'm not someone who should be talking about bodybuilding or any sort of like extreme athletic.
We already
activity.
showed your muscle before this.
Yeah, great. Everyone's like, this guy doesn't know what he's fucking talking about.
No,
And it's
show
true,
them.
I
Show them in
probably
case
don't.
they joined late. Show the muscle.
I'm not going to show
Show the
them
muscle.
No,
Guys, look at this thing he's got. Now watch it. No, but do it, because it goes like an ice cream. Do it.
This is embarrassing.
You're my sweet baby boy. Show your auntie how strong you are, Nikki.
So wait, okay, let's go back to this yogurt thing for a second.
Sure.
Because I feel like the yogurt is one of those banana tricks where I really like yogurt. Can I eat yogurt?
No, not the kind of yogurt you like. You can't have
What
the yogurt
yogurt
that
are you
has
eating?
like fruit syrup shit in it. He was eating Greek yogurt with probably some granola in it.
Yeah.
I mean,
put
no,
granola
that's,
in it.
I like that shit. When
I
it's
have
just-
fruit in it. Am
when
I
it's just
bad? Is my yogurt bad?
No, I mean,
Is
when
my
you-
yogurt-
Yeah, I mean, again, it all depends. It depends on what kind of diet you're trying to do. If you're just doing a diet where you limit calories and limit fat, which is the predominant conventional wisdom of like how you're supposed to lose weight, which is very much like debatable. Yeah, you can have a yogurt. It's better. It's probably better for you in that instance than a
Breakfast burrito.
breakfast
whatever.
burrito with a
That-
ton of cheese and bacon on
That's
top
the
of it.
thing is, like, you know what I mean? You're talking about diet and being very serious and counting calories and all this stuff. I'm just talking about replacing a meal you know to be bad with something that's not.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's all it is.
But
really.
those, okay, so I'm talking about those yogurts with the little flip top thing that has the granola. And then you put the granola in. Maybe there's like some blueberries and shit.
No, I mean the thing
it
about
the Starbucks
Well, what's that? What's the no?
I think you're talking more about like Yoplait and stuff like that.
No.
No,
I'm
he's
not.
talking about
I'm
like
the white yogurt.
like the Fabergé yogurt, or the stuff that has like
The stuff like at Starbucks, they have those like
So-
in the
But
fridge.
see,
No,
Starbucks
those
has all
aren't-
the jams and jellies in it, and that's when it gets different, doesn't
Well,
it?
also that's this.
I love the. Don't get me wrong. They got that sweet cherry one. Oh, doctor.
As you know, I'm not a huge fan of like carbohydrates. I don't. My body doesn't do well when I have excess amount of carbohydrates in it, just because I tend to gain weight. That's just me. Might be different for you. But if I were you, I wouldn't mess with the granola because it's probably just got a lot of sugar in it. And the problem with sugar, there's a lot of problems with sugar. The problem with sugar, in very layman's terms, is that it spikes your blood sugar. You'll burn through it real quick, and then you're like, fuck, I'm hungry again, right? And then you want more of that, and it also tends to be a little bit more caloric than natural normal food. So if you want to have the yogurt by itself, yeah, it's high in protein. I think it has some good fats in it. I don't know which yogurt you're eating, but when you add the granola on top of that, you're just getting all that good stuff with just a punch of fucking sugar. And it might be
Yeah,
sweetened with
damn it.
honey, I don't know, but still, that's a lot of sugar that your system probably doesn't need on a daily basis.
yeah.
You know,
I
in
like
reality,
granola.
what you'd probably be better off is make yourself a couple eggs with some spinach and some vegetables mixed in. But I know I can looking at your face. That sounds terrible, right?
I mean, no, I'm okay with that. I want to
Yeah.
make it. That's my thing. Is I ain't trying to.
I mean,
make all that
that's
shit.
my problem
I
too.
don't got time for that.
I wish there
I'll
was.
cook you omelets.
Yeah, you cook.
I appreciate that.
Is
Yeah,
omelet
like-
is an omelet good for you? That can't be good for you.
Omelets sound
Omelets
bad
are
for
too
you.
delicious.
I love
You put
omelets.
cheese in that? That can't be
Well,
good
it depends
for you.
what you put on it.
Olive oil?
Olive oil is great for it. It depends on what diet you're on. So I'm reading a book about high fat, moderate protein, low carb diets. It's like a ketogenic diet, which would be traditionally considered a low carb diet, like an Atkins diet or a South Beach diet or any of these other things. But it's always sort of a trend that's happening, and I like to keep up on it because I like to eat low carb. And one of the things they say is, the conventional wisdom of low fat, high carb diets is being challenged right now, largely because if you look at the obesity rate in our country, or actually in the world, it's not decreasing, it's rapidly increasing. And a large portion of that, a lot of people contribute that to the fact that people tend to eat too many carbs. They tend to overeat carbs. It tends to be the things that when you think, oh man, I just want something good. What is it that you
Bread.
think of?
You want something
carb,
bread-based, yeah.
burrito, something that's good, right? And so a lot of these guys
Burritos don't have carbs. There's no bread.
burritos have a lot of carbs. So a lot of these guys.
What?
So this book I'm reading right now, which is really fascinating, it's called the Primal Blueprint. I heard about it on another podcast that I listen to a lot. But
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's Joe Rogan's.
Of
podcast,
course
yeah.
it's Joe
So he
Rogan.
talks to a lot of fighters,
God,
and
you
they
man
talk.
crush on this man.
I do have a man crush on Joe Rogan. He knows it. I stalk him at night.
Does he? Every tweet Joe Rogan say, Nick's here, and he's got the old ice cream scoop for you. Do it. You're letting people down. Show them the money. There it is.
There it
Look
is.
at that.
Yeah, no,
So
wake up the
proud of you.
python.
You gotta
So
slap it.
proud of you.
Okay. But so they. I can talk forever on this because I literally just read this book, but I'm not quite done with it yet. So before I go on the actual diet, I need to finish it and kind of understand how it works. But yeah, it really does challenge the idea that like that an excessive amount of carbs is good for you. And again, he cites that there's different levels of people who are tolerant to carbohydrates, right?
Sure.
And if I had to look at it, I have never been tested, but I would guess that my body is severely carb intolerant. Like I don't have a tolerance for it. When I eat, it goes straight to fat. My body doesn't burn it very effectively. My body does better with proteins and good fats and vegetables and minerals and nutrients like that. So that's what I'm playing around with. But again, you don't have to go that granular with it. When you walk in, for now, if you want, like how much weight do you realistically want to lose?
I want to lose like 25 pounds.
25 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a serious amount of weight.
I
that
mean,
you wanna
again,
lose.
if it happens, it happens. I ain't
So-
trying to get too crazy about it.
I
but
would start with logging every meal and trying to stay under and trying to create a calorie deficit. So you need about, I think it's 3,500 calories per pound that you want to lose. So you need to create a deficit per week of 3,500 calories if you want to lose 1 pound. Start with that and then add in maybe a
Good
daily
shit.
walk.
yeah.
20 minutes, you burn maybe 100, 150 calories, which will help with that calorie deficit so you can eat a little bit more. And make
I'll
sure
even
you're
add in
actually,
a 1.5 minute run.
there you go. Although on
not
this,
true.
on a lot
We'll
of
see how
diets,
long
like
that
I'm
lasts.
just saying run for the 1.5 minutes and then walk until you got your
Oh, I
breath
do- I
back
mean, I
and
do
run
that.
a little bit.
I do that,
Okay.
so,
but not for that long. But
Sure,
still.
sure.
I do it for
Yeah.
as long as I physically can.
well, just be
But
be
see, that's
careful
the problem.
also.
I remember a long time ago in high school or whatever, when I was doing push-ups or some shit, and a friend's like, "Oh, how many do you?" I'm like, "I don't count them. I just go till my muscles get tired." He's like, "That's the point. That's the point of exercise. You're supposed to push through that, right? Or am I wrong on it?
No. Don't push through muscle.
That's what I was
fatigue.
based on.
Stop.
Well, I mean,
that's
like-
the whole point of like that's your muscle.
Take
God
a
damn it,
breath.
Chad, from
Take
high
a breath
school.
and go.
Yeah, but when you go to like the idea is you do every set till close to, if not up to, muscle failure, and then take a breath and
Exactly.
do it again, and that way.
I'm talking about I did 9 push-ups and I'm like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm done." I
Yeah,
get up
yeah,
and walk
yeah.
away. I don't mean I'm fucking there for 30
Yeah.
minutes.
I mean, to
Fucking roll on the ground like a slug. I can't move my arms.
you're like somebody get me up. Somebody pick me up. You're like push her.
Just screaming. Jamie Kennedy trying to open the door, see what's wrong in there.
So yeah, I mean,
gotta blow my nose again.
this is one of those things like, when I started doing yoga, for instance, right? And this happens every time I go back because I don't do it often enough now to really be like really, really, really good at it. You do notice that like you can't do it as well, but that's why you work up to it. Don't go balls to the wall. I wouldn't put on your running shoes and sprint for 5 minutes because you're gonna probably pull something.
I bought running shoes though.
Nice. Nike Freeze.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fives. Free-
But
Oh, free
just
fives.
jog. Just start with the jog and see where you're at. Don't go hard. Just
yeah.
pick a milestone.
So-
Listen, put a podcast on or some music on. And be
bought
like,
the
I'm just gonna
shoes.
jog for 10 minutes and see what happens.
Bought the shoes maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Only ran once.
Okay.
We've been busy. That's the other thing.
Sure.
Shit
Oh, yeah,
happens
yeah,
and like
yeah.
whatever. And I have a million other excuses. But
Gotta get rid of those.
I ran.
Stuff your excuses in a sec.
First 30 seconds, I'm like, "Pfft, I got this shit.
Yeah.
Running, you my bitch. 30 seconds later, I'm like, oh my God. Holy shit. It starts burning. My throat is just like, this is how it feels.
Sure.
That was a hot sound. Yeah.
Sure.
That's your
I don't
body's
like
way of saying, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't understand this. But you will, you know, like you could work up to a point where you feel good and where it's good for your body, and you can start to add to it with every run. And if you have that mentality, or, you know, if you want to space it out with some other stuff, you can go climbing with Kevin and various things like
Be
that.
part of the climbing community.
But I will say that, like, it sucks while you're doing it. It always
Yeah.
does. Because the first time you do anything fucking sucks. Just get through that first one
Just
and
keep
then
going.
go back the next day. And then I guarantee on that second day, you'll walk out of there and you'll feel a little happier. You'll feel a little bit better about yourself. Because you know, it releases those endorphins. It releases those happy chemicals in your brain where you're like, I feel good about myself, right? And the next day after the store just breaks, you're like, I can fucking like, I feel like I could
do
rip this
things.
table apart if I wanted to. I could Hulk out on
well, it's got
Kevin.
like the little video game thing. It's like level progression. Well,
Yeah.
the next time you get a
It
little
is.
XP, and the next time you go a little bit further, a little bit further.
Yeah, the only shitty
definitely
thing
down.
is when you wait longer, then you go back down, and then you gotta
Oh, sure.
climb
Well,
back
that's
up,
why
which
it's like,
sucks.
yeah, it's very much the challenge of.
Yeah.
It's like
But,
stopping an
um,
RPG, coming back like a couple weeks later.
Oh
having
yeah,
no idea
you
where
don't know
the
how you
fuck
can't remember what
are.
you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't
I mean,
want that.
I'm definitely into it. The goal is I want to crowd surf at Kind of Funny Live. So whatever can make that happen.
pretty sure they could do that even right now.
I know, but like I want to make it easier for them.
Okay,
So-
you don't want to crush Amy Gills.
If you
Everyone
bring
out there that's coming to Kind of Funny Live, you also need to start working out.
just
Upper
your
body
just
strength.
your upper body.
Yeah.
legs help with lifting too.
Yeah,
if you're
whatever
lifting
you
something
need
like
to
this,
do.
you have to have good leg muscles and torso and upper torso muscles. Holds the whole thing. It's a whole body thing. Can't just do the arms.
I think they'll
See
be fine.
that? See, I
think
just
they'll be
raised
fine.
with the legs.
You raise me up.
Anyway, that's my cheap 2 cents on proper nutrition and
And that was Nick's
exercising.
cheap 2 cents.
Sorry.
On quality.
I'm gonna work with an actual
I'm into
doctor or nutritionist. if you
Okay,
want to do it for
good.
sure.
All right, topic number 3. It's my topic, but ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by a very special guest. Pop it up on screen, Kevin. Adrian, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Now your name is Adrian Garcia.
Yes, it is.
You supported us on patreon.com/kindoffunny to be the first ever guest to Skype in,
Yes.
and that's all the information I know about you. So please tell me more.
All right. So, what do you want to know? Anything?
Where do you live? Where are you right now?
I'm currently in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Air capital of the world.
Kansas.
Anything?
Do you listen to XV, the rapper?
XV? No.
Do you know Tech
From
9?
Wichita.
Yes, I do.
Hell yeah, you know Tech 9. What up, Strange Music?
Yeah. Go to his concerts at least twice a year here.
Good.
Good.
He's a good Midwest man. What now? What is this? The King is what is?
Yeah, what's going on behind you?
You
here?
got what's this sign on the back? The King is something. The King is always right. Is that-
Always, I think it says.
Yes. Not sure. That's my roommate's sign.
Oh.
This is-
I thought you were in your parents' house, and that was like a weird Jesus sign I wasn't aware of.
Now, let us explain why we think you're in your parents' house. It's because the texture on the wall behind you,
oh, it is.
very much like my grandma's house.
I live in my roommate's extra bedroom where his parents don't live here anymore.
Ah.
So it's just him and me.
Okay.
We
cool.
knew parents were involved somehow.
Somehow, yeah, with like the old
It
timey
is a
car in the
parent's
background.
house, quote unquote.
Not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but is that a paint texture that we're seeing on the wall, or is that an actual wallpaper?
It's a paint texture. I
Okay,
believe.
okay.
I like he reaches out to
had
touch
go
it.
over it.
Awesome.
I've never actually looked at
Just
it
double
carefully
check it,
enough.
just making sure it can be painted over easily.
And then Adrian, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay. What do you do these days for money?
Honey, I'm an aerospace engineer here.
Son of a bitch. You're a very
smart.
smart kid. Yeah. Okay.
Wichita is the air capital of the world. A lot of airplane companies started here.
Oh, really?
And there's a lot of airplane jobs here.
And then they all flew away.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
No
Thank
problem.
you. I was
No
thinking
problem.
it. You said it.
This is one of those jobs.
Only Boeing went away. All the other ones are still.
Gotcha.
This is one of those jobs on PS I Love You. I said that, you know,
STEM.
when people are like, should I get involved in the video game industry? I'm like, why don't you become an engineer
Yeah, do something
and make a
can
lot of
help
money and
humanity.
You
You'll
can live
always
in a
have a
parent's
job.
spare bedroom of a friend's house.
He lives in his friend. You're 25 years old. Is it that?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So I mean, that's the time when you do live with your buddies. You know,
We
and he's
work out of a
saving-
spare bedroom. I'm not insulting
when you're
spare bedrooms.
32.
he's saving money and
and,
being smart.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
living
pay
with your
$600
hetero life
for an
mate
apartment.
over
I
there.
just pay a couple $100
and the
here.
dog.
Yeah. All right, fine. My topic is coffee.
Coffee.
And it's funny because you've taken a lot of shots at coffee and caffeine and everything else.
I have.
So I want this is a wide open topic. that I want everyone to address in their own way, whether it be a coffee story. I know Colin doesn't like coffee. Whatever the fuck you're doing all of a sudden with coffee that it's doing something to your anxiety. I'll start by saying I love coffee. And I look forward to it. I tweeted about this the other night when I was writing tweets for your topic about sleep, Tim, last week. I wrote one that was like, I don't really like sleep. I'm a morning person. I'm actually just excited to go to sleep to wake up the next morning and have a cup of coffee
Well, you know what
and
they
start
say,
my
Greg.
day. What's that?
The best part of waking up.
Is Folgers in your cup.
It's true.
It's true. They do say that quite a bit.
It is.
Yeah. I haven't had Folgers in quite some time.
I don't think I ever have.
But my first cup of coffee, I remember, it's one of those cherished memories for me. It was when Grandma Kennedy was getting her hair done at the salon, and Poppy and I, my Grandpa Kennedy, we called him Poppy though. I was with them for the day, and so we went with her, and we're chilling out there. And he's like, "Do you want a cup of coffee?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he gave me a little cup of coffee, and I was like, "This is terrible." So then we just put milk and sugar into it until I was able to drink it, and then I blacked out and woke up later covered in cake, and I bounced around the walls. God only knows what happened when I was that.
Fuck, Greg.
And then my next big coffee story I remember was like when we were studying for high school finals or whatever. And like maybe I'll take a cup of coffee, and I had one cup of coffee, so I could study. And then you jump to college, sophomore year finals. I remember taking, and I was studying for something, cramming for this test or whatever. And my friends were like, it was like 2 a.m, like, let's go to Subway and we'll get sandwiches, which we're all up studying. Like, yeah. And before we did that, I was like, I need a jump start though. And I took a spoonful of coffee grounds and ate them. And I was in Subway, and I remember my heart beating out of my chest in the most abnormal fashions. But that foot long set me straight, and I didn't die.
Usually does.
So that's why whenever there's anything's wrong, I prescribe a foot long.
Greg,
In your
usually it's Colin and Nick that like give you shit for just being a fucked up
Yeah,
creature.
Yeah,
You ate the coffee fucking
I
guys?
needed it then. I didn't have time for. It's like even
But is that a thing?
It's not. I don't recommend it.
I don't. But I mean, does anyone do
People
that? Does
eat
anyone recommend that?
espresso beans.
Yes. Yeah. To Greg's defense, I sometimes chew on coffee beans.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm glad to see I have one friend at this table.
I don't know about that shit. See, I have a similar story of like coffee when I was young. I was like, this is disgusting.
Sure.
How could you possibly want to drink this?
Like beer,
And I'm
semen.
kind of still there. Like, I don't like the taste of coffee whatsoever. I'm addicted to drinking it, but I think that's just because I like drinking things. Like, and now
You
that I
do
know
like
that it's like you can
drinking
drink like coffee, zero calories, all this shit. It's like water. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm good. I'm gonna drink that shit. But I definitely don't like it. I also like warm drinks, and I think that's the key of why I keep drinking coffee. Because otherwise, if
You
hot
do iced coffees.
yeah, I will, but I prefer hot normally. I prefer ice because they give you bigger. I like quantity when it comes to shit. Starbucks doesn't have Trenta when it comes to the hot shit.
Sure, good
Only the
point,
cold
good
shit.
point.
So that's why I do the iced coffee there. But otherwise, I don't like the taste at all. It reminds me of alcohol. I don't understand people are like, I like alcohol. I'm like, no, I'll drink it.
Because it gets the job done.
Yeah, but
You're drinking with
it does
purpose.
not taste good. The one thing I want to give a shout out to with coffee though is I like the way it makes my pee smell.
Sure. Yeah. No,
It
I'm
has
with you
a
on
nice
that. I'm with you
aroma
on
to
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not the asparagus way.
no, it's
Yeah.
like it's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
nice
yeah.
thing. It's one of those weird things you're like, that smells kind of good.
Yeah. It's like a reminder. It's like
Thank
you
you,
get to
coffee.
immediately reminisce right there in the toilet bowl. Adrian, what do you
Yes.
got for me on coffee?
Okay. I used to start off hating coffee because growing up, all my parents ever drank was instant coffee.
Yeah.
And
Uncultured.
exactly right. I mean, my dad's version of drinking coffee is coffee and then a crap ton of sugar and a crap ton of milk. So there's really no coffee taste at that point. So when I started making my own coffee, I thought that all coffee was like instant coffee.
Yeah.
So I bought grounded coffee and was just stirring like an idiot for like 5 minutes. Like, why isn't this dissolving? What's going on? But I love coffee. I have an espresso machine here. I have an AeroPress and a French press. I just
A French press.
So
is
you're
nice.
you were like down the rabbit hole of just
Oh,
a
yeah.
coffee
Oh, yeah.
fanatic.
Yes, but I also have I did have a scoring event with coffee where two of them actually. One when I was about 10, my grandpa accidentally spilled freshly made coffee on my back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was painful, and I cried for like 2 days.
How did that happen?
I'm not exactly sure, but all I
Were you
remember
bad right
is-
before it?
I remember I was in the kitchen table eating breakfast, and the next thing I remember is just searing pain down my back. It's like, yeah, no, it's bad.
Now, see, once when we were growing up, and we were still in the original house, so I was quite young. But this is one for your documentary. I was sitting there sitting there.
Sorry.
My father, number one crane operator, Greg Miller, was sitting where Colin is, right? And we have this dope ass bench like into the wall or whatever, and this like nice square table, and Mom's over here. And I forget what we were cooking, and keep in mind how small I am. But Dad picked up the barbecue sauce and shook it up like this, and it all sprayed out all over my head. I just wailed and wailed. I cried.
It was just
probably.
barbecue sauce. It's not
It was
hot.
bar-
It's not-
no, it's
Okay.
a barbecue.
Small-
You know,
Oh,
I realized for the first time why Greg's an only child. Small wonder that they had this kid who was demented in every way, and they were afraid that this was the norm. They didn't know any better. That they might.
This
have,
is what happens when we combine A and B. We get this, and we
yeah,
can't have
we
another
can't have
one
another
of
one of
this.
these.
can't have
We don't.
another
We
one of
barely want the one we have.
Coffee getting spilled on you it's bad business though. Like so, a couple weeks back on I think it was the Gamescast, Kevin came in and handed me. I asked him to get me a coffee, and he came in, handed me it, and like was so close to spilling it just because of his sheer just like
Kevin-ness.
Kevin-ness, right?
I want to say presence.
Kevin
Kevin has
has
a
presence. He
presence.
definitely has a presence. I was telling him earlier that Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping is his theme song.
Which one is that one?
He gets knocked down, he gets up,
But he gets out again.
Yeah,
and
they're never gonna keep him down.
Yeah, the only Chumbawamba song that I know.
So,
yeah.
so he comes through and like hits my hand with it. It was almost a disaster, and I gave him a lot of shit for it. And you guys are like, "Whoa, hey, he's getting your coffee." And a lot of people in the comments are calling me out. What you guys don't know is that literally 30 minutes beforehand, he had ran around the corner out there, bumping into me and spilling my coffee all over me, and it was scalding hot, like fresh off the thing. And so it's just like that is Kevin to me, and like I'll always associate Kevin with me burning and being very uncomfortable, and like that's just part of that story. But
It's
yeah.
Kevin. We love him, and he makes the company run, but he just makes those weird decisions that define Kevin. And today was one of them where I was trying to get in for Colin and Greg Live, so I came through the doorway, and then he was right where he is in the chair, but standing up. And rather than back up the 1 foot to let me pass, he tried to go through and get around me, as if that was making it easier. I was like, you just step backwards, it would have been fine. But we love you.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
He's like a bear on roller skates. You know what I mean?
I
It's
guess.
like I said. I trust Kevin with everything, but I also trust Kevin with absolutely nothing.
Absolutely
at all.
nothing. Absolutely.
It's just somewhere. It's both of those things.
I trust him with everything. It's just I know that it's gonna be slightly smellier than I'd like it to be.
yeah, and
Now, Nick.
sweatier. Yes.
You are a coffee fiend.
I love coffee. I love
But
coffee.
you're trying to come off it now? What's your
well,
problem?
I'm trying to cut down the caffeine of the coffee. Just because I like coffee as my morning ritual. I think it's just kind of ingrained in my culture at this point to
Sure.
wake up and look forward
Have
to
a
that
cup
first
of
cup of
Joe.
coffee. You know, mostly I usually, I've got a couple Starbucks that I stop off at on my en route. If I want the prettier drive, I'll stop off at the one on Chestnut and then take the bridge over to 19th Street and cut through the park. Then if I'm in a hurry, I'll go over. I got it all mapped out. But what I've noticed is that when you drink 2 to 3 venti iced coffees at roughly 190
Damn.
milligrams worth of caffeine a piece, it just starts fucking with you a little bit. Namely, at night, I can't turn I've hit a point where I'm like I can't turn my brain off, and I have all this anxiety about all the stuff that's happening. All good stuff too. That's the crazy thing is you're like, our business is going well, my relationship is going well, my friendships are good. And I can't stop thinking. Like my mind won't turn off a mile a minute. And so I've started to.
Have you ever worried that Colin's contagious?
Colin?
Yeah.
No, I gave Colin the cold. I gave the cold to Kevin first, and then Kevin gave it to Colin.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Oh, Colin's anxiety? Yeah, highly contagious. But you threw me off of that.
I know. Sorry.
That's
I thought it
okay.
would be a real quick aside, and then it turned into this
I
thing.
fucked that. No, so that's what I've been trying to do is go decaf. Now, decaffeinated coffee is a little bit of a misleading thing too, because there is caffeination in decaffeinated coffee, even if it's an espresso. You can't take all the caffeine out of it. But I'm trying to cut it back to what a normal, like 1 cup of coffee would be, 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day of caffeine.
Sure.
The one thing I do like about coffee is that it helps me poop, and I enjoy pooping.
See, I've never had
Oh,
that.
yes.
I've never had that. People talk about that all the time.
that's because your body is so weird. that all you need is cold, and you have to go poop.
Well, it's like wake up and I'm gonna poop, and then yeah, it's if I'm cold I'm gonna poop, and then if I ate a lot of food I'm gonna poop. There's like how much liquid's in me I might have to poop.
For me, it's the mochas. The mochas get my, and it's not even making me poop. It just makes my stomach do the like gurgle thing, and I think
Right.
that's because of the milk and
Sure.
espresso.
That's
mix.
probably because you're
The
lactose
chocolate and
intolerant.
all
Yeah.
that.
I don't think I am.
Yeah. You might
Pretty
be.
sure I'm not. I'm good. I can get down on some milk.
All right. Yeah, I mean a lot of dairy like that will just upset your stomach more often than not. I'm talking like I'll walk into a Starbucks in the morning perfectly well, sip on an iced coffee for about 5 minutes, put the iced coffee down, and have to bother someone to watch it because I'm going poop. It goes like that. It's
See,
like
that's
it's like a
crazy to
lever
me.
pulled and it's like It's the poop train.
Sure. Oh, I knew
Coming
it.
out of me.
I understood what it was. I understood it was exiting the tunnel.
Yeah, I mean,
God.
I will always love coffee. It was, to me, it was one of those things where I didn't start drinking coffee until, because growing up in Riverside, there wasn't much to do, and I didn't really care for meth. So there's a Starbucks that opened, and I'm like, we'll try this, right? And that was what we did in high school. Is we went to Starbucks like after work or after school or whatever. We'd all have like the shitty minimum wage jobs, and the Starbucks was open till like midnight. And it was the first time I'd ever seen a Starbucks. I was like, this place is cool. And it had the coffee culture that came down from Seattle. And it was like, it was about sitting and talking and just enjoying like this moment with your friends over a cup of coffee. And I'm like, this is really, really cool. And to this day, I crave that experience as well. The other night, I just went over to a buddy's house because I'm like, I don't want to drink anymore. I don't really want to go to bars. I don't want to yell at people. I just want to have the experience of people just sitting around talking. Similar to when
You don't get that enough.
No, I mean I like it here, but it's on my leisure time. I like that. I don't want to deal with the douchebags at the bar that are going to try to elbow their way in so they can buy a drink so they can get more drunk because they think that being super drunk and super loud is what women like. I don't like that. It's starting to wear on me in my old age. But what I do like is when back in the day I used to go to when I graduated college and had no money. My buddies and I used to go to an all-night cafe. It was like, I think it was up until 3 o'clock in the morning. It's called Cafe Ruba in Newport Beach. You would sit outside because, of course, it was Southern California. It'd be really warm. And we would just play a game all night and drink coffee and smoke copious amounts of cigarettes. But the entire thing probably only cost me $10. I mean, it was nice because you get the same experience of the alcohol without necessarily needing to spend the money or worry about the calories of the hangover the next day.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It is.
Adrian, what are your thoughts on this decaf nonsense?
I don't do decaf. Just no decaf.
Yeah, okay, good.
Well,
What do you feel about diet sodas?
Here's the thing. You might not approve of this to me, Tim, but I don't drink sodas.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Would it- would
I'd
it- would
rather
it been-
that stance.
Would it been a bigger offense if you like Diet Coke over regular Coke?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Okay.
Like,
Well, yeah.
death before diet is my
Wow, okay.
my stance on this.
Sure.
That's some bullshit, man.
Yeah. The only thing
I do like soda, but I just never crave it.
Once in a
Yeah,
great
it's
while
good.
on a soda.
Oh, I
that's why you're
crave it.
skinny.
See, for me, the decaf has a place. Like, I appreciate what you're doing here. You know what I mean? For me, I like coffee in the morning, and then it used to be 4 o'clock was the cutoff. Now I feel it's more like, actually, no, I'm sorry. It used to be 5 o'clock was the cutoff. No coffee after 5 o'clock, because then I would be lying in bed like that Spider-Man meme where I can't sleep, mask on. You remember it? It's very famous.
Yeah.
And then I had to dial it to 4 because there was one day where I had like a 4:30 coffee, and it's because I don't like my coffee super hot. So if I don't put ice in it, I let it chill out for a while. So then it's marinating. You know what I mean? And then I'm just wired, like you're saying. So I like a decaf. I'm a big fan of decaf in the evening if I want a cup of coffee, but more importantly, with the dessert at the nice meal. You've had the nice meal.
Yeah,
they come by, they take the little metal thing, they scrape the crumbs off, they give you the dessert menus, you get a little cake donut or whatever.
call that a decrummer.
Do they really?
The what?
See-
A decrummer.
See, for me in the evening, I just switch over to tea. No caffeine.
I do that too.
Herbal
So-
tea, like herbal teas.
Yeah,
See,
I'll do
tea
like
I don't
English
get
breakfast
down with.
decaffeinated.
See, I can fuck with tea.
Tea
fuck
for me
with
is
tea.
I'm sick. If I'm having a tea, I am sick. My throat hurts.
See, again, I just like the hot liquids.
See, I don't like the hot liquids. That's my thing. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what. It took me a long time, and I don't know why, but it was Nick Scarpino here. He's the one who changed my life and got me started on the iced coffees at Starbucks.
I think I screwed up one time and got you an iced coffee.
I think
and
that
you
is
were
what
like,
happens. It was that E3. It was that E3, and I
You
was
could
like,
suck it down fast.
exactly. And then once I
You don't have
figured
to let
that
us-
out, there was trouble afoot.
I know.
Because they do it all the time now.
Now
That's
the
what I
thing,
like about it.
a shout out I want to give to coffee is you have to get it black. Like,
Yeah.
And I learned
Yes.
that from one man named Bernard Ho,
Oh.
who was the most intimidating man I've ever met in my life.
Power.
He is power. He
He's
equals power.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. One time we were standing next to the coffee machine at IGN, and he was just drinking, and I forgot what he said to me, but he looked at me. He was just like, "If you're gonna drink coffee, Tim, you need to drink it black." And I'm like, "Okay, done. I'm never putting anything in my coffee because of you, and I'm gonna be powerful because of that."
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing
like that.
something.
You're there. You're
Yeah.
almost there. You're about 20% there.
Now, Colin, you don't like coffee at all.
No.
When was the last time you had a cup of coffee?
I drink espresso like after dinner when I'm at a nice restaurant. That's
But you
about-
like that, right? Is that
yeah,
different?
But it's the reason I haven't talked during this topic is I don't know anything about coffee. It seems a little disingenuous for me to talk about it at all. But
But that doesn't stop you whenever I talk about superheroes.
but I know a lot about superheroes. So with coffee, yeah, I don't. The last time I had like a regular cup of coffee years and years ago. Like I remember
wow.
being I used to drink coffee like when I thought it was cool at my grandma's house. Yeah.
Look at me, Grandma. I'm
Yeah,
an adult.
look how cool I am, Grandma.
After Sunday dinner, they'd like let me have coffee. You know, we'd all congregate for Sunday dinner every week, and just drink, you know, eat sauce or gravy as we
I
call
had
it.
those too. My grandma used to make pizzas.
Yeah,
They were
like whatever random Italian food.
That's probably awesome.
Oh, they were so good. She'd cut them with scissors.
Yeah, that was our great. Until my
amazing.
grandparents passed away, that was like our great tradition every
it was
Sunday
really
on
good. I
the,
remember
on
that
the
too.
island. And so I remember she had like this like crystal sugar thing with a silver top, and she had a spoon in it that was like a square spoon that was like a shovel with a little windmill on top of it, and you can like spin the wheel. And I used to just sit there and like spin it. And I'd put like just a shit ton of sugar in my thing and milk and just drink it. But then and my mom would come and be like, "Why are you letting Colin drink coffee?" I would have a good laugh about it. And then you know,
turned into Full House.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Credits roll, freeze frame.
and but I realized by the time I was like 9, 10, I'm like, this kind of sucks. Like I don't like it's not for me. Like I knew because my mom did drink coffee until in the late 80s. My mom became allergic to like a million things out of like nowhere. She was allergic to like yeast and all sorts of like caffeine and all sorts of shit. She like couldn't eat or drink anything. And it wasn't until like a few years ago that she started like eating like a normal person again.
Your dad though had
My
to be a
dad
coffee
is like
drinker.
a heavy coffee drinker.
Your dad strikes me as I'm going to work and he has the giant thermos, the big metal thermos of
he's-
coffee.
yeah, like,
that
so-
was my dad's deal. He had this green thermos that was beat to shit that just lived with him on job sites in Chicago that he took with him.
Yeah, my dad loves a cup of coffee, a good cup of coffee. He's like a connoisseur of it. Like he drinks good coffee.
But
And
he enjoys a bad cup too, right? I imagine
He'll have any
the
coffee
diner.
you give
You
him.
guys at the
Yeah.
diner. Whenever you talk about going to the diner with him, I imagine him with that like the chipped white coffee mug.
He'll allow it. He'll allow it.
Rough
He drinks.
ass New
He drinks
Yorker
it.
GJM out there.
He drinks it black with a little bit of
onion
sugar.
head.
Onion man. But yeah, when he was, FDNY firefighters are on 72-hour shifts, so they would have to work sometimes. Sometimes you work like if it's bad, it's you're basically working consecutively. So he would. I think that's kind of where it came from. But my dad was also a bit of a workaholic. I mean, he worked like 4 different jobs. So we can live in a nice house on Long Island and stuff like that. And so like he was just never home. So he was just always like drinking coffee to stay awake, and he still has a coffee thing going to stay. One of my sisters, Allie, drinks a lot of coffee. I think Dagan drinks coffee. My mom drinks tea. She likes a lot. Like she drinks a lot of tea. I just don't like hot drinks. I like Coke and Pepsi, fine. Like I don't buy them anymore to have in the house because I think it's not good to have in the house. But whenever I go out to dinner, if I'm not drinking, like if I'm out at a craft cocktail place, I'll drink cocktails, but otherwise I'm gonna drink like a Coke with my meal, like when we go to ramen or something like that. I like that. So I guess that's kind of like my caffeine vice. But yeah, I've been silent about this because I just don't know anything really about coffee. I started drinking espresso a few years ago. I had like my first great espresso, I think, in Germany with pear, like 5 years ago maybe. And I was like, I kind of can appreciate this. It helps you digest a little bit and gives you a little bit of a boost after you ate a lot of food. So I can respect that, but. If
got a
someone
purpose.
was like, you never drink espresso again, I'd be like, that's fine. I would probably never think.
sure.
I'd probably literally never think about it ever
Yeah.
again.
See, my
So
thing
it's not
is-
like something I have to I like live for.
When I wake up in the morning and I'm super dehydrated, I'm like depressed because I'm like, fuck, I gotta drink more water. I can't just drink a coffee. I gotta drink a bunch of water before I
You drink
this
more
coffee.
water. You drink more water than anyone I've ever met in my entire life.
I know, Colin.
You drink a lot of water. How much more water can you possibly drink?
Enough.
A lot.
You must pee a
Coffee's a
lot.
diuretic.
I do,
So
I
you
keep
should
it-
probably
I
drink
keep
more
it.
water.
Well, so that's what I was going to say about caffeine, just specifically, and that's part of the reason why I want to cut down on it is because coffee in general just dehydrates you. But caffeine, I think there's a misconception of what caffeine does that a lot of people don't really even stop to think about. It doesn't give you more energy. All it does is speed your heart rate up and starts maxing out your adrenal glands. Like it just starts creating these like. It actually is a very stressful thing for your body to do in excess. So you have to be careful with that. Because a lot of people, the conventional wisdom is you need some energy, drink some caffeine, right? And sure, it may focus you a little bit better, but it's because it's speeding your heart rate up to the point where your blood is just rushing through your brain, and you're like, cool, I got that. But it stresses out your system. It can be a very stressful thing. And if you're highly caffeinated all day, it can fuck with you, like severely.
Well, that was the thing when eventually Poe will come through. My Ramon, your Kevin. And when Poe gets here, we'll make him talk about the fact of when he was in grad school and so he's like mid-20s, he gave himself a kidney stone because when he was like writing this paper over 3 weeks, all he drank was coffee and all he ate was Skittles because he was at his computer writing
the
this
old
thing all the
coffee
time.
and Skittles diet.
Fucking idiots.
We've all been there.
I have.
So Adrian,
Yes.
any parting words on coffee for me?
What I would say is, have any of you ever tried microwaving coffee?
No, that sounds horrible.
So
Of course, I have an Italian mother. She
I
microwaves
used
everything.
to do this like a while ago, but I stopped after I was just still sort of like if you have you guys ever heard of superheating a liquid?
No.
No.
Kevin has. He's nodding. But why don't you, for those of them out
Okay.
there that don't read about
It's-
superheating liquids, why don't you explain that to us?
It was a very painful experience. But if you have a very smooth cup and you put it in a microwave that doesn't rotate, and you can actually get it to be hotter than boiling. And when you put anything in it, it flash evaporates and it just gets everywhere and just explodes everywhere. That happened to me about 2 years ago, and it just burned my hand.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
So what I say is, be careful when you microwave coffee, or at least don't do it.
Well, supposedly, and I learned this from one friend, Mirabella,
Mm-hmm.
is that you're not supposed to ever microwave good coffee because it changes
yeah.
it on a molecular level
I know.
and will just fuck up the
It
taste.
doesn't taste as good,
No.
but I wanted something hot, and it was like 3 hours old coffee.
Sure.
I'm
Oh,
like,
that's perfect. That's prime for it though, man. You pour that over some ice, little half and half. You got yourself a nice iced
That's
coffee
the
right
thing.
there.
I remember always liking room temp coffee and that being like gross. You leave coffee there and it goes from hot to
Yeah.
cold. People are like, but you put it over ice and now people don't care.
It's great.
I agree. I'm with you. Don't get me wrong. Here's
yeah, I don't like room temperature coffee. That's just weird. But
You're
iced
weird.
coffee and hot coffee, that's good.
Yeah. No, there's definitely like a graph to that where it's like in the middle is just like disgusting.
no.
but-
It's too when it's hot. I can't have it. Anything else in there? Here's my question, Adrian. Before we let you go, are you a coffee snob now? You didn't. Your parents grew up on this instant stuff, but now you got the espresso machines. You got all this stuff. Would you say you're a snob now?
No, I would say no, but I do like quality coffee. Like if someone makes me coffee, I'll drink it.
Okay. You want to be
know,
polite.
Yeah,
You're a nice young man,
yeah.
and the king is always right.
Yep. It's true.
exactly.
Are your friends big surfers?
No, those are masks.
Out in
Oh,
Kansas.
they're
masks.
masks. I thought they
Those
were
are-
okay.
Surfboards?
I thought they were surfboards.
They're
Well,
tiny little surfboards, Nick.
I thought they were like
It's
you know,
they're
they
either
look like a
tiny
longboard.
surfboards or the room goes
look
back
like-
like 100 yards.
They look
and
like,
it's all an optical
they look like
illusion.
tiki
Like
masks.
that's a real car. I didn't realize that. I apologize. They are like a tiki mask motif.
I don't know half the stuff in this house, so
I do like your anniversary headphones, though.
oh yeah, figure out how to use them.
Yeah. Adrian, before we let you go, is there anything you want to pimp, like your Twitter, or what do you want? You got a website? Or do you have a YouTube channel, a podcast?
No, I used to do a podcast way back in the day, but not anymore.
So what airplanes could people buy to support you?
Any Boeing planes, though, that's about $150 million a piece.
We'll get on
Yeah,
it.
Chump
do that.
change.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's what we'll get for the
We'll
kind
get
of
on
funny
Patreon and get that money ASAP.
Adrian, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you.
And thank you, Loot Crate, for sponsoring this segment. This episode is brought to you by Loot Crate. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for the epic geek. God damn it. It was a smooth transition. Until the wheels fell off. Adrian, I'm sorry you got to see me like this.
Well, I can't see you anyway, so it's fine.
Hold on. Hold on. Adrian, I'm sorry you had to see me like this. But now that you can see me, I won't screw it up. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for the epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear you need. For less than $20 a month, you get 4 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, one-of-a-kind items, and more. Make sure you head to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the code KINDAFUNNY to save $3 on your new subscription. Loot Crate is more than just a subscription service. It's an entire community of fans that share their experience and interact with each other around the unboxing of each month's crate. And Loot Crate guarantees more than $40 worth of value in every crate. Sometimes it's even a lot more. Every month there is a different theme, and all items are curated around that theme. Previous crates have included items from franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, The Walking Dead, The Legend of Zelda, and many more. The theme this month is Versus. Versus. Celebrating some of the greatest rivalries in pop culture. Dark Knight vs. Man of Steel. Alien vs. Predator. Spock vs. Mirror Universe Spock. Daredevil vs. Punisher. Harley Quinn vs. everyone. Our exclusive items include something you can display, something you can wear, and something you can use. And don't forget our Tea and Loot pin. Remember, you only have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, Adrian, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code KINDAFUNNY to save $3 on your new subscription today. Adrian, we love you. Thank you again.
Thank you,
Thank
Adrian.
you
Thank you
for
for your
having
support. We appreciate you.
Of course.
Did you have fun? Was that good?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Very enjoyable.
Okay, good.
Maybe next time I'll actually come out there for the other one.
Ooh, yeah, totally.
Thank you
right.
so much, man. This was fun.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Bye. What a nice young man.
Yeah.
Final topic goes to the one and only producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino. What do you got for me?
I was looking at Zac Efron.
He's a nice looking young man.
This
I
picture-
still think he could play Mark Grayson if we get the Invincible movie started already.
So I didn't even know there was a Baywatch reboot coming out. Did
I
you
don't know
this?
how you missed that.
Yeah, I read about it.
Holy
Do you
shit.
not-
I don't care though. I mean,
Do you not follow The Rock on Instagram?
Just right now I'm following. I was messing up bad, man.
Dude, you're missing great Instagrams. He does little bits when he introduces characters. He curses. He's got a cute
got
dog. The
the-
other one died.
The Rock and Zac Efron in a Baywatch movie?
Yeah.
The hell?
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
yeah.
He looks great. I'm excited. My topic today, I think, comes from last week. We kind of broached it a little bit last week, and I said pump the brakes, Jack, and Greg said we are going to pump the brakes. So we pumped the brakes, and now we're bringing it back so we can talk about it for at least 15 minutes.
We'll see.
Let's cast the Metal Gear movie.
Okay.
Now,
That's the same. I'm giving you a theme song.
oh, is that what? Yeah,
No, we
of
can't
course.
use that one anymore.
Can't use
Greg.
that one anymore.
Fuck
'cause they
that. I got
sued.
the movie rights. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah, you go back to that guy, you pay him. It's totally fine. Now, I, as a Metal Gear Solid expert,
Yes.
Oh Jesus, right? You don't know anything.
I have my opinion on what era and cast this should be, but I want to hear from you out there, you beautiful folks who've actually played more than one Metal Gear Solid game, or Metal Gear game, I should say. What is the optimal like time period, game and or cast for this
We're
movie?
telling Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
PS1. That's the
Undeniably.
story. That's where we start.
Okay, so let me look up the cast of that, or do you guys know
We
the
know
the
the
people
I
that
know
are
the
that?
cast. You're welcome to look it up. Go ahead. Don't worry
No,
about
okay,
it.
let's go one by one then. So,
So who we're putting in the movie, or who? I mean,
let's name
Snake,
at least 5 people we're gonna put in the movie.
Snake for sure.
Okay.
Ocelot, Meryl,
Meryl.
Psycho Mantis, Vulcan Raven. You need Liquid. We need to put Liquid in there. I mean,
Kevin, can you
granted,
write-
these are all
Kevin,
things.
Decoy
weird.
Can you write these down? and give
Decoy
them to us
Octopus,
one by one?
Cyborg
DARPA
Ninja.
Chief.
Yeah. Target Chief.
Did you say Ninja?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You writing all this down, Kev? Well, you can
So,
put it down here too.
I'll put it down here.
Vulcan Raven,
I already said Vulcan Raven.
Sniper Wolf.
Already said Sniper Wolf. Kevin remembers
Vulcan
all this.
Raven.
Hold on, I'm gonna put it down, Kevin.
All
I
right,
got you.
all right.
I got you, Kevin.
Solid
This is
Snake.
me, Kevin. This is me.
Did you get
Hal?
Solid Snake?
You get Hal?
Snake,
Yeah, we got it. Ocelot.
Liquid, Ocelot. Can't spell that. How you spell Ocelot?
OCELOT.
Got it. Meryl.
Yeah,
Merle.
Is that how you spell Meryl?
it's good enough. You're the only one who'll ever see it.
That's true.
Hal,
Hal. Okay.
Sniper Wolf,
Sniper Wolf.
Vulcan Raven.
With an E?
I fucking want to murder you.
Vulcan Raven.
Decoy Octopus.
Decoy Octopus.
DARPA Chief.
You can't spell octopus?
Well, I guess technically we don't need a decoy octopus.
You only see him when he is the DARPA chief.
I know. It's
But
going
it's
to Colin.
a long time.
I don't know
Colin
how
joke.
we're going to do this, but I do. I'm sorry. For the end credit scene, Fat Man.
All right.
No, nothing out of you? You're not excited about that? That was a Easter egg I'm
why?
throwing in for you.
I was trying to think like why would Fat Man be in this? Did you
'Cause
for me?
The end credit
I
scene.
get what you're saying.
So the movie ends and we go through the
okay.
credits and it comes back and
It's
it's
just him
like
drinking a glass of
and
wine.
he just what does he say?
Eating
Grow
fat.
fats
Yeah,
and
yeah,
be merry or whatever the hell he says. And we're like, whoa!
No, the end credit scene would make no sense
And he
at all.
sneaks-
It'd
and
be
he
a
sne-
conversation about fucking Patriots. Like, what the fuck is that?
He snaps his rollerblades together and
Yeah.
just skates off.
Random Irish music playing. This makes no fucking
Sure.
sense.
All right. So you got everybody down there?
I got
You're just
everyone
looking at
down.
shots of Meryl now.
Now I'm
Are we
I'm
starting with
trying
Meryl?
Let's start. Yeah, let's start with Meryl.
Because you don't want to
Julia Roberts.
We're gonna work our way
Julia,
up.
are we
Julia
taking
fucking
everybody from
Roberts.
every time period? Meryl's got to be young and she's got to
I'm
be
talking
like.
now. You can't. Julia Roberts, unfortunately, is not.
Now here's what I'm gonna. I
that age
already
bracket.
know. I already know.
Meryl looks like she's in her mid 20s, early 30s.
No, she's supposed to be young and green. She's in her early 20s, I would say.
Yeah.
You're looking at Metal Gear Solid 4, Meryl. This is when she's got her
Wow.
shit together and she's about to get married. Spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 4. I know what everybody's gonna shout out with. They're gonna shout out in the chat Emma Stone because she's a redhead. She's young. Not putting Emma Stone in this movie in this role. Emma
That's
Stone,
right.
yeah.
That's
Emma
what they're doing.
Stone, too fun, too cute about it. Meryl's not gonna be a comedy character. We're gonna stay
This
true.
is MGS4 we're talking
We're
about.
staying true to Hideo Kojima's vision here.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
So we need a young actress.
Do you want to know who I think?
Who?
Brie Larson.
Ooh, that's pretty
Room.
good. That's
Yeah, I
pretty
do
good.
like Brie Larson a lot. Okay.
I wanna give a
Okay.
shout
She
out
has
to her
range.
Hermione.
She
You
has
dye her-
range.
You dye her hair red.
Oh.
It's good.
That's much
'Cause
better.
she's
I love
Emma
Brie.
Stone,
Hold
but
on.
less
Wait, who
fun.
did you go with? Who did you say?
She said Hermione.
Oh, Emma Watson.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, done.
She has the serious tone to it.
yeah.
She has the serious tone to it. I like
Okay.
that. I like
Okay.
that a lot, actually. Keep Brie Larson on the list for maybe Sniper Wolf. I'd like to get her in this picture,
okay.
but I think Sniper Wolf needs to be a little bit old too.
Yeah,
Older too.
She has to be older for
Yeah.
sure.
But
Julia
how
Roberts.
old is no Julia Roberts? I know Julia Roberts came out at the Taylor Swift concert, and that made us Julia Roberts fans.
Yes.
But we don't need Julia Roberts there for that one.
Okay, so we got Meryl casted. We'll go with Emma Watson first.
Thank you.
We will, if Emma Watson is busy or otherwise declines the role, we
when-
will go with Brie Larson, and then if not, we will go to. Miss
She's
Julia
gonna get
Roberts.
the script and be first off, she's gonna be like, "Whoa, they want me in Metal Gear. Who's producing it? Kind of funny. Who wrote it? Hideo Kojima." She's
Right.
like, "I'm in.
Right.
Don't worry."
She's too
everybody."
old, but I was thinking Bryce Dallas Howard from because
little
she,
old.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
too, but she's got
Oh.
the serious tone to her. Like,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. She could again. You could put her on our list. You could put her on a list for Sniper Wolf.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
We're just workshopping names
If
here.
we're going like just pure Hollywood, not trying to make this good, Taylor Swift has the hair and the face of Meryl. The hair style, not
Sure.
color.
Sure.
So I feel
Yeah,
like
again,
that's an
don't-
easy.
We
can't
are-
afford
color.
color. We gotta
can
make up
change
artists
that.
hair and makeup. They come in.
We are
Yeah,
not
next season.
cashing in. We are making the first ever great
Okay,
video
okay,
game
cool.
movie.
Okay, then I
Not
take
that I
that
don't
back.
think Taylor Swift could
She
do a
could
great
do
job.
The theme song.
She did the theme song.
Oh shit! I can't believe we left out this pivotal character. We need to get a Mei Ling. Put Mei Ling on this
fucking
fucking
right.
thing. You kidding me right
Yeah,
now?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
gonna
are
look-
we going-
I'm gonna look at Mei Ling. Who the
Are
hell
we
is
going
that?
PlayStation version or are we going GameCube version
Kevin.
for the Mei Ling?
We're going.
PS1 version.
We're
I'm
going.
charged.
I don't
hold
know.
on, everybody, slow your roll.
Because then Silicon Knights and all this. So I don't.
We're casting. We are casting an Asian woman as Mei Ling.
Okay.
We are not making her speak in broken English. That's kind of
Okay.
racist.
Okay. Cool.
That's what you meant, right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. You know what I'm talking about? Like how they
Yeah,
changed
I
her
know what
voice.
you're
Did you ever play Metal Gear?
Yes, I did.
I can't
So-
even. I want to do my impersonation of the line, my impression of the line, but then
Don't
I'm
even do it.
I'll be-
Don't even do it.
I'm gonna throw her out there because she is unbelievably good looking. I don't know her
Don't.
name.
Now
but
I'd like you again. I want quality actresses. I don't
I
want just
want-
people who are pretty.
the girl from Ex Machina. Not
Oh, the
Alicia
robot.
Vikander,
Okay,
the Japanese robot girl.
sure. Spoilers for Ex Machina, but you should watch it now.
Well, you know she's a robot. This is my robot. She's like, hello, I'm a robot.
No, that's not at all how she's introduced, but no big deal.
Doesn't matter. If you haven't seen it by now, spoilers.
You're never going to
It's
see
a great
it.
movie.
It is a great movie, and you should see it. How old
Sonia
is she? though?
Mizuno.
Oh yeah.
She looks. Yeah, okay. She's.
I'm gonna go with her. She's
Let me see.
I don't know.
No. Okay, sure. I'll give you that.
I mean, she's probably early 20s, late 20s, mid 20s.
I can't believe I'm being
Now,
hit on
Mei
by
Ling's
the
Chinese.
famous
Doesn't matter.
Solid Snake.
But they are, doesn't matter. If I can play an Irishman,
Well,
can
no,
figure
we
it
can
out.
just. We can change that part of the continuity. We can make it. That there. I mean, like, I want the character to be named Mei Ling because that's what we're expecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I don't want it to pop up and it's May May. Ling, and she's just some. I don't want her to
Mei
be.
Lang, and it's just like some like blonde girl.
Exactly.
Yo,
You're with me.
what's
Yeah,
up?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you guys don't, if you don't want to stir that hornet's nest like that movie.
Every
with-
movie that ever casts a
The
white
movie that-
person as like the Egyptian movie where all the Egyptian people
Right.
are white people.
we can go down the rabbit hole. We can research some fine Chinese actresses if that's what you.
I'm
feel
fine
like.
with this. Again, I just think
I think it should be a Chinese actor.
we will make it
Okay.
clear to Hideo in this treatment he's writing for us that it needs to reflect whatever the ethnicity of the actress we cast. That's all I'm saying.
I gotta
But it
think
doesn't
on
matter.
that.
You want to go find
I want to go. I
a
want to
Chinese
go
actress right
I
now.
want to. Can we jump to? I want to know who we want to play Gray Fox.
Here's what I'm gonna toss out for Gray Fox. And stick with me. Our friend Rob Paulson did the voice of Gray Fox, and I forget if it was in Silicon. It must have been in the remake, right?
Yeah.
What if we do a CG deal for Gray Fox, or not even CG?
No CG, but he can do a David Prowse, James Earl Jones situation.
Thank you. Exactly.
Right.
Not we're gonna have to help out with some CG for the moves and stuff. He's not like Ryan. He's not like Colossus. He's a dude there in a mask at the time.
This Grey Wolf. That's what you're saying.
Gray Fox.
Grey Fox. Grey Wolf. Fox.
It's Cyborg Ninja. You probably have him on your list as that same character.
I'm imagining if no, well that doesn't work out. I mean, yeah.
You could have someone like you need someone. He's maybe getting older now, but someone like Ray Park playing him.
Yeah, that's
and
what
then,
I was thinking too.
And then you get someone to do the VO. I agree. You need someone like very acrobatic. Ray Park, of course, played Darth Maul and Snake Eyes.
I mean, you could do it. At the one point when the mask opens, you could use Rob's face even then, because Gray Fox. Yeah, okay, great. I thought for a second, I thought
older.
Nick got in my head. But yeah, Gray Fox has seen things he's operated
Yeah.
on. He's a cyborg.
We got a couple other characters. There's Naomi.
Well, I know. I don't know. Are we trying to do the whole cast?
There's
or?
Miller. I think Miller. I want to give a shout.
Miller's got to be
Owen
liquid.
Wilson.
Miller's got to be liquid.
Owen Wilson.
I don't want Liquid Snake to be Owen Wilson.
So
I'm
for
sorry.
this guy-
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I can't do that.
No,
Why, 'cause of the
Liquid
hair?
Snake. Wait, you're
The
talking about
hair is
Liquid
the
Snake?
only thing that's.
And he has
First
range.
of all, for this guy, just judging off of this picture of this.
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I want to go with the guy that was either the bad guy in The Watchmen, who I love, who was in Downton Abbey.
Ozymandias.
Yeah, I like that guy, or I like the bad guy in Perfect or Chronicles of Riddick. And we're going with that. We can't. All of these, by the way, can't be AAA actors. Or this budget's gonna go.
We
way
just put
overboard.
Rob Paulson in it, and Ray Park doing the mocap and everything, or the body work.
It's possible. It's possible.
You're the one getting all hung up now, trying to get these random people from Watchmen in it.
I like a lot of people from Watchmen, by the way.
I like Watchmen too.
I like Jackie Earl.
Who's directing this movie?
Probably Hideo Kojima.
Mick G.
Oh
That'd be
no,
amazing.
no, not Mick G.
Damn.
If I could pick one person to direct this, like I'm producing and I'm like,
Kind of funny
I don't
to
feel
produce.
like doing this. I'm gonna go produce
Nolan.
This. Yeah, I would think.
Of course.
I would approach Christopher Nolan with it and be like, is this something you want to do? But the only issue there is he'd want to do it his way, and that way
That's gonna
may or
butt
may
heads
not
with
be.
Kojima.
It'll butt heads
Let
with
him do it
Kojima.
his way.
I don't know.
So
I
I think
actually
you might
think
wanna
that
go
they
with like
complement each other pretty nicely.
You think so?
Yeah.
I also feel like he's not great at action. He's good at suspense. He's good at
Yeah,
espionage
but Metal Gear
and
doesn't
intrigue.
have that much action. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1 is pretty
Right.
light. It has moments, but like,
Mm.
I think Nolan could nail like the helicopter fight scene and like,
Yeah, he could do it. He could do it. But I would also like to give it to. It would be interesting to see what like Joss Whedon would do with that, because I feel like he would be as true to form as humanly possible, and he nails action.
yeah, but I mean, I think he'd be better for the Twin Snakes version compared to the
Potentially.
PlayStation version, because that one is a little bit more over the
Maybe
top.
give it
and,
to like. Maybe give it to like. Well, you need someone that has like that darker sense to him, like a Darren Aronofsky or someone like that.
that might
who,
be
like,
too dark.
No, but I mean, like I think he could do it. I think he could direct big action like that and tell a dark, fucked up story like this. I think that'd be really cool. Anyway, continuing down the rabbit hole. So we figured out who do we have left? Ocelot.
No, hold on. I've found our Psycho Mantis. I want to do Paul Dano. You know this one?
Oh, Paul Dano, yeah.
right.
Paul
Right?
Dano's perfect for that. Yeah.
He's lanky. He's scary in his stuff when he wants to be scary. I mean, I'm looking at some period piece right now. He's not scary at all. But you understand what I'm saying. Oh, there's
Paul
Laser
Dano's
Team.
super freaky.
He's intense. You know what I mean? He is
Yeah.
intense,
I
and I
like
like.
that.
That
I want to
about
be
him.
Psycho Mantis. For Ocelot, Kurt Russell.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I'm
You nailed that
really,
one. You nailed that one.
really into
Knocked
that.
it out of the park, Colin. Good job. Good job.
He's spelled psycho.
I
You're
feel like
welcome.
he needs to like
A-
really
a
work for the
PSYCHO.
role, though.
PSY, thank you.
Now here's the thing. I need you to think of present day
Mhm.
actor. I'm giving you not. He's made bad movies before and
Okay.
everything else. Vulcan Raven, I think would be a good rock role. It could also be a good
Who did you say-
Batista role.
Who did you say for
I think Batista.
Batista's
I'm
a better
going
role
for
for
Batista.
Ocelot.
The
Ocelot.
Rock's too charismatic. Vulcan Raven doesn't have that.
Sure,
You
you're
know,
right. Yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
Vin
yeah.
Diesel for
oh.
Vulcan Raven.
I like Vin Diesel better than Batista.
But for Vulcan Raven is like hulking guy, and he's got that giant Gatling.
That's
That's
true.
my only thing.
What
Vin
about the
Diesel-
Rock? What about the Rock?
We already talked about him.
He's too much.
No.
He's too charismatic.
He has too. Vulcan
So
Raven's
the
not
Rock
that guy.
is too charismatic.
He's
but
too good
Vin
for this.
Diesel just hits the bill.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you make. I think Batista's the better choice.
Batista's good.
Trust me, I'm a
Batista is
casting
good.
agent.
All right, you're the casting. You're casting this film. So we're going with Vin
Vin or Batista?
or Batista. We'll go to Vin first because I'm sorry to say, Vin is the more bankable star right
and
now.
his family.
But Batista's coming up. That's not taking anything away from Mr. Batista. He's got a great career. He's coming up in the world. He's going to do the second Guardians of the Galaxy. Might catch fire after that. We don't know. So he'd be a good casting choice. Batista.
So now here
okay.
is a problem we get into that we need to talk about.
Right.
You talked about trying to cast Miller, and I said, well, that's got to be Liquid. And then you're like, Owen, what does that mean for Snake?
I have the
Luke
perfect snake.
Wilson.
You're with me, right? They're
Can you imagine?
les enfants terribles, right? Like they're twins.
Yeah.
So are we casting one
But they're
dude as
not-
both?
I mean, here's the thing: they're twins, but they're really not. Like you look at those motherfuckers, and that's a plot point. Like that's not. You're like, no,
So
no.
you want to?
How
be
old are they
fraternal?
when they were supposed to do this? When around this time? Is he supposed to be like mid-20s, late 30s? What is
He'd
he?
be 30s, early 30s,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because the Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 have already happened, and then this is the thing come back, and they brought him out of retirement up in Alaska and all that
Yeah.
jazz.
And who's the older one? Is Liquid older? Or no, they're like the same, right?
Twins, yeah.
The twins.
Yeah.
Shit.
But they don't. We can say fraternal.
Is
we can get around
Ocelot
it.
older?
Ocelot's way older.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
So-
throw
So no,
another-
Kurt Russell's nailed. And Ocelot
Okay.
is perfect for.
Okay, we'll keep that there.
Okay. We need a Hal still.
So what about Cyborg Ninja? Did we figure that out?
Voice is Rob Paulson. Maybe the face is too. Ray Park's doing the body work.
Got it.
Or whatever the modern day Ray Park is. I don't know.
Yeah.
He might be too old now.
Maybe, what's his name? What's the guy's name? The golem.
Andy Serkis. I thought about that
Serkis.
too, but
No, Ray
that's more
Park-
CG
That
stuff
part's a
than it
badass
is.
still. He could do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's fine. He moves around fine.
Plus,
Plus, you know, he's
Hal. We need Hal. We need a good counterpart.
Hal
Oh, a little
needs-
whiny bitch. Who's a little
yeah.
whiny bitch in Hollywood right now?
Chris Kattan.
And Chris Kattan is Hal.
Now, here's the thing. I think Paul Dano could also play Hal if we don't like him there. If we don't like him as Psycho Mantis. If
Let's
Colin
see.
does indeed want to be Psycho Mantis.
For this guy, I would go with
can't
I would
guess
go
what's
with the bad guy from
Here,
Quantum of Solace.
my only complaint is that you're looking again at like Metal Gear Solid 4 images. Look at the little whiny bitch he was. I mean, like, you know, he was like a dude in a sweatshirt. Like, oh, Snake.
So no accent is what you're saying.
I've never seen this James Bond movie you're even referencing. I'm just letting you know that guy's probably too cool for
Okay.
school.
He might be too cool for school.
Daniel Radcliffe with the glasses.
Man,
He'd have to do an
No.
American
man,
accent.
you're
Dude,
coming with some
he would
good
have
shit.
He would have
What
to.
about the Flash?
Grant Gustin?
Yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is a
because
fascinating
he
pick.
can be a little bit of a bitch sometimes.
This could be his breakout movie star role. We've seen what he could
Hal
do
Emmerich.
in Glee and Flash, but here he is playing opposite Kurt Russell.
It's possible.
I
That's all
do
I'm
like
saying.
Grant Gustin in there. That's a
I'll put
strong
him
pick,
down there.
and it's another affordable pick.
Right.
He isn't too big for his britches yet. Grant Gustin, a good guy because he's happy with everything he gets. You know what I mean?
Is it
he's happy.
Gustafson?
No, I've said it's
Gustafson?
20. Grant Gustin. Again.
Got it.
Oh, Eric from True Blood is Liquid Snake. Kevin's.
If you're gonna do Eric
Eric.
from True Blood, then you go Ryan Gosling for Liquid Snake.
Ooh, the
Hey,
goss.
Here's what
Goss with
Do you
some
think this
hair.
is what really? Do you think this
This
is what
is
real
totally what it is.
casting is going?
Ooh,
the goss.
Here's the problem: is
I like
I
it.
think that most time, and I have nothing to back this up, but I imagine most people when they're in like a studio thing and they're kick. No, I don't even know how you fucking pick a movie star. I don't even know. If you're what, it's the director who does
No,
it,
they're
right?
a
The
casting
music
agent.
videos?
do.
They're casting. I thought there were people that are like experts at being like reading a script and being like, this is the
Yeah,
person.
but it depends on how it goes. Sometimes when they're developing a project, someone will say, "Hey, I know so and so's agent. Let's get a meeting with them and see if they're interested." And you pitch them on the project. They read the script and say, "I like this," and then you get the funding for that, and then the casting agent.
So what I'm
comes in and
dialing
casts
is,
the rest of it.
I don't think people in these things are going ooh like we are, but I don't think they're fans of the IP as much as the goss. Can we get
You
the
get
goss?
surprised.
I love the idea of Ryan Gosling with long hair.
Oh, you know what? Who did you say?
No,
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, he did. We can't
That
afford
could
him
be for Hal though.
No,
That's a
he's
good
too
guy for-
old to be
is he too
Hal.
old? That's the
He's
problem.
too
See-
old.
See, my
Oh, dude. I mean, I like it though.
I like it too, but
Yeah,
Grant
he's older
Gustin's so
than
much
that now.
better.
It's
Can we
pictures from
give
a long
Grant
time
this
ago.
role? I'd like to work with Grant. This is our chance, guys.
we don't have any.
Did you see Earth 2 Flash? Do I have to
No.
go get clips for Earth?
I don't know.
I'll
We're
try.
not getting any clips for anything. That's too hard.
Right. We.
It's cast. The name is down. We got the goss for Liquid.
Roy-
Right now, I see Snakes open.
Roy Campbell. I want
Oh,
to be
shit, right.
the
We all-
general guy from the first Transformers movie. Because he just nails it.
Oh yeah. What is that guy's name? I know I read something about him.
Type in Transformers General, Nick.
Because isn't he like always?
He's that guy.
Oh yeah.
Like he
always
is
that
Roy
guy that-
Campbell.
Oh, that guy.
Oh.
The guy that Troy Baker does or not Troy Baker. Is it Troy that does the voice? This
Yeah,
guy.
that's what I'm saying. That's where it was Troy Baker making fun of this guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Let me
so.
see.
He's like, is this guy? That guy?
Yes.
I'm thinking either him or the guy that was the bad guy in Silence of the Lambs, who's always the general, or William Hurt, who is the general in the Avengers series.
Oh, the guy that was
he
in
like
Monk.
the Hulk. Yeah, he was the bad guy in the Hulk. Yeah, I like that guy. A
Yeah,
lot.
he's awesome. Shit. What is his name? He's awesome. That guy's great. That would be a great.
Hold on, I'll bring him up.
Yeah, that would be good.
I'll float. I'm not in love with it, but I'm putting it out there for this role as well. Clancy Brown,
No idea who
Um,
that is.
Shawshank Redemption, the guard. He's Lex Luthor's voice
Yes,
in
yes,
as
yes,
Superman.
yes,
Oh, Scott Glenn. Scott Glenn is a great choice for some of these guys too. He's a bit old now though.
burying? Where is he?
What the fuck?
Just go to Monk.
Oh yeah,
Colin
sorry.
said just go to Monk.
Going to Monk.
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 One of the great shows.
One of the great shows, Colin said.
Ted Levine.
Ted Levine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
that guy.
him.
Oh yeah, He's
I love
good.
him, and I love it's either John or William Hurt. I think it was. Who was he played the bad guy in the he played the general in the Edward Norton Hulk. Remember the bad guy?
He's still the general
still the
in
general,
the Marvel Universe. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a badass. But just imagine him when you put a wig on him and then
He doesn't need a wig. General's always wearing a hat. He's fine. So where are we thinking? Who's the general? Colonel Campbell, actually, isn't it? Not Colonel.
let me see a picture of this guy.
We started talking about the general from the show, and then they got confused.
I think General Campbell,
Is it?
right? Colonel? I don't fucking know. Whatever.
Colonel Campbell.
Shit
He's
gets
not.
weird
No
with
one's
him.
giving a captain that much power.
Captain Campbell.
It's Colonel Campbell, and this guy looks exactly like the bad. Like we know who you really want for this. Who they probably modeled this guy off of was the Colonel in Rambo. Remember that guy?
Ah, yes,
they
I do
probably
remember
modeled
that guy.
him literally
You're
off that
right.
guy because
They
that's
probably
exactly what
did.
it looked like. So we can try to get that actor too if he's still alive.
Well, let's
He
make a
might not
pick
be.
and let's
Wheel
move
him
on.
out.
That guy right there. See, look, it's the same. That's a
It is the
picture of him.
same guy. Yeah.
EB0.
Can we get that guy? Get that guy.
No. Oh, you know, it'd be really good though. Is that a picture of him?
Yeah.
That guy's
Oh.
literally 110 years old now.
Is he?
So I don't know,
Probably,
but
yeah,
yeah.
no, probably.
Rambo came out 30 years ago.
The bad guy from Terminator 2.
Liquid Metal.
Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
He'd be dope as him too because he's aged now. So he
You're
looks
right.
like
He
that.
is more haggard now.
Yeah.
Okay. I just believe you. You can put him in.
I'm just doing now.
Okay.
See, look at him. Oh, come on, that's him right
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Yeah.
You
Robert
fucking
Patrick. Good
nailed
call.
him.
Good call.
Yeah.
And he's got range.
Good.
Again, this isn't
He's
just
got
the
a lot of
look.
range.
This
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
just the look.
You need to be able to nail.
Do you think
all
he
the-
looks? You think he wakes up in the morning, he looks in the mirror and
subtleties.
says, "I'm fucking Robert Patrick."
I'm
I
still
would.
alive.
Yeah, I would too.
I would wake up with just a raging erection.
Whoa,
And I'd be like,
Lord.
yeah, baby. Still
Whoa.
going. All right.
DARPA chief should be Steve Harvey.
Oh my God! Yes. Fucking yes.
Done.
Holy, that's the best casting that we've had.
Now that's the one where we might putting that out in a trailer feels like the one where people are like, this is a bad video game movie. But I
mean,
like Steve
his
Harvey
role
as well.
is so like.
Especially when you get
I
that
think
Steve
we
Harvey
can contain
face.
it.
He can't smile. The entire
No,
time
no,
he
no.
does it, he can't smile.
We got to get that Steve Harvey. We
I
got to
like
get that
that.
Steve
Who
Harvey.
was
face.
Decoy Octopus?
Also,
That's someone.
Steve Harvey.
It's gonna
Also Steve Harvey. Okay.
it's also gonna be Steve Harvey.
You
You're
never
right.
see Decoy Octopus when he's not Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
So we're probably gonna have to. We might have to. No, we'll just pay him per day. He doesn't
So
get paid
now
per roll,
so
that's
now we
fine.
need to figure out Snake, obviously,
Jaden Smith.
but Fat Man for our end credit scene.
And we need Miller. Did we get Miller?
Miller's been yeah, that's gonna be the Goss, but in a wig.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
And with sunglasses on.
And he is the same as Liquid, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, this
Got
game. I like that there's multiple characters that are the same as someone else.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
So we need a
Okay.
Fat Man.
So I'm gonna
We
throw.
don't need a fat man, do we?
I'm throwing this in there for you. If you don't want the end credit stinger of Fat Man skating around,
I'm just
getting a bomb
afraid that
ready.
we're being too bold.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
I feel
let's
like Fat Man should be the guy that played the Blob in X-Men 3. Do you remember that guy?
I was
Oh,
thinking-
that guy's a great actor.
I was thinking
Yeah, he
Mike
could do
from
that.
Mike and Molly.
You
Oh,
him to
he
play-
would work too.
How'd you come up with that one, Greg?
Is he on
He's
rollerblades?
overweight. he's a fat man.
Nick asked the question. Is
he
on
I can't do it.
rollerblades?
Someone else has to do it.
He rollerblades, yeah.
I mean, this could be anyone in a fat suit, so it doesn't matter.
No, I'm not. We're not cheaping out here. It's nobody
Oh,
in a
you
fat
have to- we
suit.
actually
There's a
have to have
fat
someone
man
fat.
in that
All right.
suit. All right, guys.
John Goodman.
John Goodman. That's where I went too. Holy shit! Can you imagine? The theater comes unglued. The fucking skates come in and people are excited, and then they like pan up and John.
are excited.
It's John Goodman with that stupid glass and the umbrella
Done.
in it.
Done. All right, now
Grow fat, beat man.
What a
like
weird
this.
cast we have. And this cast also cost $300 million.
this is a really well. So far, we're okay. Probably the most expensive person on this cast, I would say, is Ryan Gosling's probably the most expensive.
Sure.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone else is not too bad, but we're gonna pay through the nose for Ryan Gosling, and Kurt Reynolds probably demands a little something. Brie Larson's probably gonna win an Academy Award. She's gonna be expensive. Emma Watson's expensive. Julia Roberts, $20 million picture.
We're not putting Julia
Might get-
Roberts
might
in
not.
this movie.
Who's Sniper Wolf?
Oh, yeah.
Sniper Wolf is Bryce Dallas Howard. Or
Oh, was that confirmed, or we just
Oh.
put that on there as like a?
We
I don't
don't
think
gotta
that was
go back to it.
confirmed.
I don't think she's.
I don't think
She
She's
doesn't.
there.
She's not Sniper Wolf.
What
Yeah.
about Gal Gadot?
No.
Dot.
No,
She is
Sniper
Sniper
I,
Wolf.
I love Gal as much as the next guy, Wonder Woman, but that's
Sniper
the thing.
Wolf
I don't
is
want
like Milfy.
Is she Milfy?
She's not that. I mean,
She's Milfy.
Yeah, I would agree with Tim. I think that's
Then
kind of
how
how
about the
I see
MILF
her.
from American Pie? What?
That's exactly what I was thinking
You know
of.
what?
But that
I'm
doesn't
so-
work.
No.
That's not.
I gotta be honest, just
That's-
based on some of this art, Bryce Dallas Howard is hitting the fucking mark right now. She could rock that character.
Yeah, she probably could actually.
She's close. She's the Hollywood MILF.
Margot
she's
Robbie.
not quite MILF though. I mean, yes.
You want an actress probably mid-30s is what you're saying. Mid-30s to late 30s.
I'm saying like early
40s?
40s. Yeah. I want to feel like I'm dangerous if I'm having sexual thoughts about her.
Okay.
Jaden Smith.
Again, not
No.
a female.
That's
What's
Solid snake.
who's Will Smith's wife?
Jada
Jada
Pinkett.
Jada Pinkett Smith. Oh, I'm so sorry. It was so fucking off.
I mean, there's a big difference.
One is the
You're
son.
gonna tell me? You tell me Will Smith doesn't come home sometimes and
I will say
accidentally
this, and this is not that this is bad or good. Jesus Christ. I will say this: as far as the movie getting made and having broader appeal and getting big and fine, we could do with widening the net as far as ethnicity is concerned on this, because we've got a lot of white people in it. We've got one guy. We got Steve Harvey. I think is the only person of any color, and Batista. I believe that's it.
broke.
So I'm just saying we could use like
What about Mei Ling? We have Mei Ling too.
we do have
We got
Mei Ling.
Vulcan Raven, who might be Vin Diesel.
He doesn't count though because he's kind of like
the best segment we've ever done.
I'm just throwing it out there.
we got Steve Harvey.
I'm just saying if we wanted to cast someone of more of an ethnic person for Sniper Wolf, we could do that. So Jada Pinkett Smith could be approached.
No,
for
because
it.
she needs to wait for the sequel for Fortune. Because she'd be a fucking awesome Fortune.
Shit. Well, Fortune's got to be young too, but I guess we're playing too.
Well, then Kerry Washington. I like Kerry Washington.
Kerry Washington would be awesome.
Oh shit, yeah.
Okay, let's do her.
Wait, are you doing
Let's
Kerry
get her.
Washington for next movie or this
Fortune.
movie? Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
no, we're not.
We still need a Sniper Wolf.
Sniper Wolf. We still need.
What about? Does she have to be? What about like a?
Be a Steve Harvey.
This is a hard one.
Just to be able to do an accent.
What kind of accent?
Russian. Right? Was that what Sniper Wolf was? Yeah.
Yeah. There's this one
Bryce
MILF that
Dallas
keeps
Howard?
coming up in,
Yeah, she works for me.
in porn for me.
can't
I'm
cast
sorry. What
porn.
now?
She'd be perfect.
She can't
but
come
I
from
don't know
porn.
her name. Why not?
It's just it
Equal
doesn't work that
This is
way.
opportunity.
this is a real
We
movie.
won't get funded. We won't get funded if we have a porn star in the cast. It
That's
just
not
won't happen.
true. It's 2016.
It's not gonna happen. I'm telling you right now. I go out there and produce $200 million movies every day. Can't put a porn star in the cast as a lead. Can't happen
Okay.
unless she's softcore.
No,
Unless she's
well-
softcore.
Okay. What about this? I mean, so what age bracket we're trying to hit? Mid-30s, you said?
Mid-30s probably
Oh, okay.
realistically, so that she can play.
I was
40s.
gonna float from Daredevil and of course the Matrix movie Trinity,
Mm.
but I think she's over that, and I'm only basing this on.
I think she could work though.
She could work though, right?
So
Right?
Mhm.
She was because she got to do an accent. She can do an accent. Got to be a good actress. She's a good actress.
Daredevil, right?
That's what I said. That's where I led in with.
She
No,
was
it's okay.
not in Daredevil. She was in Jessica Jones.
That's right.
Ooh, fucking
Rosario Dawson,
checkmate.
though.
Checkmate. Ooh,
Good player.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, she could play her. I'm saying if we want to go out there and be a little more, equal.
No, we've
as
been
far
doing
as
the very
decisions.
traditional. They look like it. It's like the old Wizard magazine
Right.
when they'd be like, well,
I
Paul from
love
the Wonder
Rosario-
Years
I
should be
love
Milhouse.
Rosario Dawson. I'm putting
All
her
right,
on the
that's
list.
it. All right, good. Now we can get to the big question of Snake.
Jaden Smith.
Now is that the
He
girl or
can't
the
play
guy?
everything. Willis
guy.
Smith is the girl, for Christ's sake. Jaden is the guy.
You just brought
What
a whole
did you
other
say
Sam into this.
Now,
Willow
if
could-
they
we could
caught it, they
cast
caught
Will.
it.
Willow Smith.
I'm
That's
telling you
solid
right,
snake.
I'm gonna say this. We could throw it. I'm saying we could throw it on its ear and cast a girl as Snake. Right? The twins don't necessarily have to be boys. Just
Good
throwing it
point.
out there.
No,
I
that's
don't
a
think
good point.
Kojima's going to go for that.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
throw
sure.
a name out. He might be a bit too old right now, but he would be my absolute like wish list get for Snake. Leonardo DiCaprio.
I mean,
Mm,
I like it
mm.
just in general as a
I do
thought.
like Leo. I don't. He
He
doesn't
looks similar to Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling's probably going to come off a little bit younger on screen than him because Leo's getting those nice age lines right now because he's pushing. He's a little bit above 40.
I mean, Leo looks old now. He looks hot, but he looks old.
hot
Yeah.
old.
He's a
Yeah.
bit old.
Like, I want to cast him as Sniper Wolf. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is what I'm talking about.
sorry, I
of that
already-
hot age range.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I've already unfortunately reached out to Bryce Dallas Howard's people. Said yes, soft yes, but she's got another Jurassic World to do. And Rosario Dawson said she's in. She's in. So.
I don't know about
So what are we gonna do? How are we gonna break the news to Bryce Dallas Howard? They
It's
just
she'll-
gave us a soft yes.
Well, we gotta. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's where you let me, the agent, work my magic
Okay,
on this. We'll
okay,
get both of them as the
okay,
role,
okay,
and then we'll shoot them. We'll shoot them both.
Leo isn't. He's an interesting choice. He would get you talking. He'd get the papers.
I mean, honestly, there's the Sniper Wolf scene. That is what would finally get him his Oscar. I say we give it to him.
You want to give it to
Sniper
Leo?
Wolf talking.
Sniper
to him?
Wolf, Leo.
Is there going to be a problem
Leo
with
D.
the age discrepancy?
No, I think it makes sense.
Okay.
What's the age discrepancy?
Oh, you're talking for Sniper Wolf.
Sniper Wolf.
Okay. I'll put him on the list. I'll put him top on the list. He's going to be the most. We need to only have like what? How many scenes do you think in this movie?
With Sniper Wolf, not too many.
Okay. It'd be a lot
They're
of money
key.
for him.
It's going to be worth it.
We're gonna
That's
have to,
the
he's going to
trailer.
win an Academy Award this season. He's gonna
Now
get
back
twice
to
as
the
much.
question that he was bringing up though about diversity. We're taking probably the strongest female role in the picture and giving it to Leonardo
Yeah,
DiCaprio.
but we gave solid. We gave Solid Snake. Like Solid Snake's going to be a woman.
No, it's going to be. Well,
Oh,
wait
we
a minute.
are doing that for
Yeah,
Oscar.
I mean, that's fine, but I worry about Kojima-san
He's not going to go.
not
for
going.
Oh,
going
you're
for
right,
it.
won't.
Kojima.
Well, he's just the writer in this.
No, he's
We're
not.
producing.
He's Solid Snake.
Oh,
That's not what I was saying. I was saying Kojima has probably total control over the project,
I'm going to throw out a
even
couple
though
more
Konami
names.
would.
no, yeah, kind of
Kojima
funny.
would.
Bought the rights from Konami.
Right.
Mhm.
For a lot of money
Yeah.
to make this film. Kojima, since he loves me because I complimented his beard, and
Oh, shit, I never broke that video.
and that got totally broken out and sent to him. He got in contact with me. We started talking. He was like, "Who do you want to play this person?" And I said, "I'm thinking a young Leo DiCaprio for Snake, or maybe a Tom Hardy. Might be in the age bracket."
Yes,
No.
brother.
And he said, "So let me get this straight. You want a young Leo to be Snake,
Mhm.
and you want current Leo to be Sniper Wolf."
Yeah.
And he hung up the phone.
No,
and
he was like,
burned
"Let's
it.
do this. Let's do this. We need to get
And he
Snake."
said, "Do you have any minorities?"
He literally-
And we said, "We have Steve Harvey."
why? Yes, we do.
Glad you asked that, Mr. Kojima.
I gotta move. If we're gonna go with Ryan Gosling, he's got to be Snake. He would be a great Snake, and we got to pick someone else, like someone else in his age bracket.
Yeah, Eric from True Blood. What's his name? Sarsgaard?
Alexander Skarsgård.
Ryan Gosling
Skarsgård.
couldn't do the like as well.
Yes, he could.
I
Have you
think
seen
he
his
could.
comedic range is amazing. We're gonna. I gotta move
It's
him over.
not funny. It's confused.
I mean, I say fuck it. Hayden does the voice
Yeah, definitely.
and just
What?
dubs the whole thing.
No.
Yeah,
Be
it's all
amazing.
dubbed.
He is definitely a guard, though.
Mm.
He's a guard that's getting his neck broken or whatever.
I want him to do the voice.
Who's the main
He's not
bad
doing
guy
the
in
voice.
this? Who's the main bad guy in this?
Liquid.
Liquid Snake is the main bad
Yeah.
guy. All right, the guy from True Blood.
But I mean,
could
he's-
probably pull it off.
Good.
Good.
He could. I agree. I like him a lot. Big fan of him. He was very nice to people at Comic-Con, which I respect.
Let's
as well.
wrap this up soon. My knees kind of hurt.
This is it, too. Yeah, I thought Kevin was going to get you another chair, but then he just sat there. Or I thought he was going to trade chairs with you, and he just
So
sat
you
there.
guys want me to take
No,
the
it's
chair
fine.
in
It's fine.
and out
No, it's fine.
with the camera right there.
I
Cool
don't.
with that.
You
No.
you slip past it every day.
Oh,
I believe in
can
you.
do it.
I trust you
Don't-
with
You guys are
everything.
gonna Freak out.
Trust you with nothing.
We can fix this too, by the way.
But we're
All right,
mailing
we've got
these
our
away,
cast.
remember?
We've got our
Well,
cast, ladies and gentlemen.
Run down the cast list for me of the Metal Gear
Headlining.
Solid movie, produced by Kinda Funny, written by Hideo Kojima, directed by Christopher Nolan.
Headlining this, top billing. See, I don't know. Right? We need a bigger star. I got to be honest.
Bigger star than Ryan Gosling.
No, not Ryan Gosling. We need a bigger star for Liquid. We need a second name, a bigger name for Liquid.
Liquid
a movie star.
Liquid
But
kind
you
of.
could.
like a Taylor
He's a
Kitsch
throwaway.
or
But pardon me. You could kind of swap in Ocelot as a compelling villain character in Kurt Russell.
In the trailers,
not-
he's going to have some badass stuff.
Ocelot at the end of the day, once it becomes a franchise, Kurt Russell's going to be the
all
bad
right,
guy.
all right. So we've got, for the sake of Colin's niece, Ryan Gosling is Snake.
Thank you.
Alexander Skarsgård as both Liquid and Miller. Spoilers. Ocelot, Kurt Russell.
Mhm.
Psycho Mantis, Paul Dano. Meryl, we've got either Emma Watson or Brie Larson.
It's Emma Watson.
Maybe Julia Roberts if she says yes. Hal, Grant Gustafson. For Sniper Wolf, either Leonardo DiCaprio, he'll probably turn it down. We're going to go down to Rosario Dawson or Bryce Dallas Howard.
If we're not turning it on its head, then I say Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, I'd say Rosario Dawson too. Sorry, Leo. But we'll keep Leo on the list. If he says yes, fuck it.
I'm
Then we
rocking with
Then we
Leo.
make the whole movie. The problem with you put Leo as Sniper Wolf, his people are going to slowly turn it so that it's a Sniper Wolf movie, and that's not what this is about.
That's fine.
You
We
can't
could
cast a
spin
guy
off a
that big
prequel.
in this role, and then he's going to be like, hey, yo, this is not enough for me. This is
Well,
not enough
who's
for me. I got to
Ocelot?
get mauled by a
We're
fucking
not there
bear.
yet, are we?
Ocelot's Kurt Russell.
Oh, we're there.
Oh wait, sorry. Otacon.
I don't think we
Otacon's
picked on
Hal.
him.
That's Grant Gustin.
Okay. I mean, him and Leo could have the moment.
I agree.
Just saying.
Cyborg Ninja is voiced by Rob Paulson. Moves by Ray Park. Vulcan Raven. We're going to go to Vin Diesel first. If he declines, we're going to go to Batista. Colonel Campbell, Robert Patrick. First and only choice. If he turns it down, we don't do the film. Decoy Octopus, Steve Harvey. And DARPA Chief, Steve Harvey. And a surprise credit role, Fat Man, is going to be played by the one and only John Goodman.
That's a
I think
picture.
that's a solid
I
list.
go
love
see
it.
that fucking movie.
That's
ladies
a
and
wrap.
gentlemen. That's a wrap on the party. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Game Over Greggy Show. Before we go, of course, we want to thank our Patreon producer, John Demos. Of course, he supported us over on patreon.com/kindafunny and made all this insanity possible. Remember, you've been watching this show, and what it is that every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can toss us a few bucks, get every episode early, and get a bunch of exclusive perks. If you have no bucks to toss, head over to kindafunny.com, where you can watch the show broken up topic by topic, day by day, until we'll post the entire thing as one big video and MP3. This is one of my favorite shows in quite some time.
We need to do more casting topics
I think
because
it's,
this is fucking gold.
I've been saying for years we need a casting couch in this place.
Yeah, I'm down.
Until next
sold.
time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
Wait, you told me your bed was the casting couch.
Shut up, your whore mouth, and show me them ice cream scoops. Do you love books but find that you never have time to read them? Well, Audible.com has the perfect solution. Get audiobooks and listen to those books you've been meaning to read on the go, at the gym, during your commute. Audible.com provides over 180,000 titles from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. Those guys are my personal favorite. Their app is free and works on iPhones, iPad, Android, and Windows Phone. You can also download and listen on your Kindle Fire and over 500 MP3 players. And unlike a streaming or rental service, with Audible, you own your books, so you can access your books anytime, anywhere, right on your smartphone. Audible.com also has the Great Listen Guarantee. If you decide you don't like the book you choose, no worries. You can exchange any book you aren't happy with for another title anytime, no questions asked. And just for listeners, Audible.com is offering a free 30-day trial membership. Go to audible.com/kindafunny today to start your free trial. Again, show your support for Kinda Funny and get a free 30-day trial at audible.com/kindafunny. This is your way to cheat Colin. You'll go and listen to all these books, and then you can tweet him about the books. And he's like, how are these people reading this many books? And you're listening to them.
This is a nice ass deck. Big fan.
Thank you.
You got a nice ass dick, is what he said, I think. Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Gotta catch 'em all. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Feel the you and the Yu-Gi-Oh! It's all about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I was gonna say you lost it on that, but you never had it.
I never had it.
Yeah.